because they're going to do the anthem. No, the anthem. So just hold. Okay. It's been 22 months since the Saturday night lights have brightened the Santa Clarita skies, and tonight college football finally returns as Cougar Stadium is alive and well as the 9th-ranked College of the Canyons Cougars host the Antelope Valley Marauders. Hi, everybody. Alongside Jesse Munoz, I'm Matt Robinson. So great to have you along. It's been a long time coming, Jesse. We've been waiting for this day to kind of show up, and it's finally here. We got football back at Cougar Stadium.
You said it, Matt. We are back. Ready, reset, go. 2021 season about to kick off here. I'm excited. I know you are, and boy, I can't even tell you how excited these players and coaches are to be back.
And you talk about being excited, players and coaches coming back, and that's exactly the vibe we got from Coach Ted Iacenda earlier in the week. We talked to him, and he was really interesting. He talked about what it feels like to return and the unique challenges really that we've had to deal with getting back to the 2021 season.
Yeah, absolutely. Circumstances like no other. I mean, I don't think there's ever been a program that's had to navigate these obstacles, these protocols, these all the steps that we had to take to return to action. College of the Canyons was able to do that. Players rallied behind their coaches, did what they had to do, and here we are.
Yeah, and we'll actually hear from Ted right now as he spoke to us on those topics just a second ago.
I mean, I can't explain the emotions we had just coming back on campus in the spring.
Thank you.
The energy around these kids that have been sitting out, some 3 years, some 2 years. I mean, it's amazing that these kids are finally getting back on their path to their future, and I am so excited that we're playing a strong part in that, and I'm so excited for Saturday night. It's going to be a great night. A lot of emotions. We took the COVID year, to really focus on our academics and our structure in terms of social media and reaching out and communicating with people via Zoom and holding these meetings and doing installs and stuff, and with the technological advancements. As opposed to the ways we used to do it, really, kind of analyze how the whole program is run in terms of the technology and the ways we can communicate, because we knew it was going to be a changing world. And in coming back, we knew it wasn't just going to be, let's go back to normal. There was going to be hurdles that we'd have to overcome, and, there's spacing issues, there's masking issues, there's room issues. We really spent that year kind of analyzing how it was going to be when we come back, and I think we were able to hit the ground running when we did finally get the go-ahead.
And you hear from Ted Isenda there, Jesse, and really the two interesting things, like we said, just his genuine excitement for football to be back for the boys, and really what they've done to tackle those protocols that need to be put in place.
Absolutely. I mean, this is their livelihood. This is their passion. This is what they love to do. To have to sit out for nearly 2 years, you gotta, just imagine what that did to these people, what it did to their spirit. But like I said, they're back. We went through the protocols. We got that all under control. And now it's time to go out there and shine, see what we got.
And, we talk about the Cougars. We can try and get through some of it. We started a little late here, so we may not get to everybody that we need to. But we do know the Cougars roster coming in. There's some interesting facts, some guys coming back. One guy we do know is going to be the starting quarterback, Colton Doyle. He's didn't get a chance to play much in 2019, but we're excited to see him back out on the field.
Yeah, didn't get that many snaps, but that was something due to injury. Actually won the starting job out of camp, came in, started that first game against Saddleback College. As it were, circumstances, injuries knocked him out, and we had a bright young man, Armani Eden, who stepped in and never let go of the job. So those are one of the breaks of playing collegiate football, but he was able to get a red shirt, and he's back with us. Happy to have him.
Good news for Cole. He's going to have a lot of help on the offensive end, starting in the backfield. Cougars got a couple of guys back there, Cyrus Zool and Moises Haynes, that are going to be impressive. We saw them in 2019.
Yeah, definitely. Cyrus Zool, just a tough runner, ability to go between the tackles, bounce it outside. Big guy, 6 foot, 205 pounds. You're going to see him. You might think there's a little bit of a delay in his burst, but that I think is just him reading the line. He's got a knack for that. Maybe a little bit of hesitation, reads the line, and then finds his hole and goes. So he's one to watch out of Sumter, South Carolina. Another kid we're excited about, Moises Haynes. Local kid out of Valencia, leader on the field and in the locker room. Expected to get some additional opportunities this year, and he checks in at 5'10", about 215.
On the other side of the football, the Cougars have a couple of guys coming back defensively in the linebacker core that are really, really good in Julian Salazar and Jonathan Thomas, and both of just guys we expect to really create an impact on the defensive side.
Absolutely. Let's start with Jonathan Thomas. Second on the team last year, 55 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 10 tackles for loss. And this dude can definitely get in the backfield and wreak havoc. 28 solo stops. Not an all-SCV conference guy last season, which I can't even believe. But he's bigger, he's more mature. I think he's a smarter player, and we're going to look for him all night.
On the other side of the ball, the opponent for the Cougars tonight, Antelope Valley College Marauders. Remember, most of these teams coming into the SCFA this year have not played in 22 months. Antelope Valley, one of the few teams that has. They played 2 games in the springtime against Sequoias, won both of those games. So maybe a little advantage for them, Jesse, coming in terms of having played football.
Yeah, I don't know if you call it an advantage, but definitely a better set of circumstances, and the fact that they were able to get out on the field, they had their team together throughout the spring and throughout the summer. So we'll see how it shakes out. I know they were excited to get on the field. Canyons had to wait a little bit for their opportunity, but here we are, ready to go.
Cougars will receive the ball as they, I think, won the opening coin toss. I'm not sure, but either way, they have the football, and they will receive to our left here in their blue uniforms with yellow pants, Antelope Valley in all white. Low kick that'll bounce it around the 25-yard line, picked up by the Cougars, and it'll be returned right back up the middle. Still on his feet and then knocked down right about the 35-yard line for COC was Joshua Christopher on the return.
Yeah, Josh Christopher out of Canoga Park, California. First chance to see him. First chance to see a lot of these young men tonight. Excited to do so.
Cougars will start on their own 36, and Colton Doyle will lead the offense out onto the field for the first time this season. And we talked about Cole initially was really, like you said, slated to split some time with Armani Eden, and got hurt in week 1. And what we did see in that first week, he struggled a little bit with his passing accuracy at times, but obviously it's a lot of time to work on it now, and we'll see what he decides to dial up.
Sure, and I think time the factor. You figure that he's going in week 1 against a tough Saddleback team, never really had a chance to find his rhythm, get settled under center, and then boom, he was knocked out. So here we go.
As he will hand off on the first play of the game to Cyrus Zool, who stays on his feet, but not quite sure he got back to the initial line of scrimmage. It might be a loss of 1, and the Cougars will get pushed back to the 35-yard line.
Again, Cyrus Zool, familiar name for us, and familiar in that backfield, but this is a new offensive line for the most part, so it'll be interesting to see how he's able to read and work with this unit.
And yeah, you talked about new offensive line. Only 2 returners on the offensive line. Really 1, if you think about it, is it's Because Santisteban is the only returner from the 2019 team, and he's a guy that was also injured as well. So they'll hand off to Zool. He'll try and cut outside the tackle. Won't be able to get there as Dylan Hall, the first one to get to him. Might have got back to the original line of scrimmage, so it's a gain of 1.
You talked about Santisteban, again, an unfortunate injury in 2019. He's back now, healthy and rehabbed. I know they're going to look to him to be an anchor on this line. But another name I want to bring up, Justice Spates, was on the 2018 team. Left, went to a Division I school, bounced back, and he's with us now. So, again, a little bit of that veteran leadership on the line goes a long way.
And that's going to be key for Colton Doyle when he has to throw the football in situations like this, 3rd and 9, to have that time to be able to get it into his receiver's hands. As he'll sit in the shotgun. Time to work, will throw down the far sideline. Pass is caught on the outside by Andre Hunt. And that's good enough for a first down all the way up to midfield.
Andre Hunt, twin brother of former Cougar Antonio Hunt, also on that 2018 squad. And, that's a great job, great 3rd down, picking up, move the chains, and keep it going.
It's a 14-yard pass and catch by the Cougars, and they have their first down of the ball game.
And like we talked about, didn't have that time, that chance to get settled under center. Maybe that's a good first step in that direction.
As they'll fake the handoff to Zool. Doyle will roll out, throws downfield, has a big one, caught downfield by Wiggins, spins around and into the end zone for a Cougar touchdown.
Well, I guess he found his rhythm. It only took 2 passing plays, and there's Tim Wiggins, the star receiver out of Valencia High School. Again, was with us in 2018, but hold everything, guys.
It looks like there is a flag in the backfield. It's way back near the 50-yard line. And this one may come back.
Typically, that's in the area of a...
And there you go.
Yep.
So it'll push the Cougars back, and it'll be 1st and 25. It's a 15-yard chop block penalty by COC, and it negates a 50-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's an unfortunate penalty right there, especially like we said, he's just starting to get his momentum. You get that big play, you get Tim Wiggins involved. That's too bad.
So we'll see how the Cougars reset here, as now they've got a long field to work with once again, back to what the original line of scrimmage at the start of the drive was, right about the 36-yard line, just behind the 35 actually.
Started to say Tim Wiggins was a player with us in 18, took a red shirt in 2019, back, looking for him to contribute a lot this season.
And you can see the speed he provides, and we haven't had a chance to talk about the receivers yet today, but that's really one of the good things on the outside for COC, is Doyle will throw here on 1st and 25 on the inside, just a small little pass caught, and Trayvon Elliott not able to get much, maybe got I'm not even going to say he got back to the line of scrimmage, they're going to say he lost a yard.
Matt, you said we haven't had a chance to feature some of these receivers. Trayvon Elliott, a big-time returner from that 2019 out of Indianapolis, Indiana. He's here for a second go-around with the Cougars.
Yeah, he had 4 touchdowns, averaged 17.3 yards per reception in 2019. He was 3rd on the team in receptions with 29, had 502 yards, and so you expect him to really pick up the offense as the season goes on. As Doyle will throw here on 2nd down, that one defended right about the 45-yard line. Good job on the outside by, it looked like it was Deshaun Sanders who made the play.
And looking to Andre Hunt again, just couldn't reel that one in. But again, a lot of talent out there. It doesn't matter which way Doyle's looking in any given snap, he's got guys.
And it's a lot of size too this year, Jesse. We talked before about the speed that the Cougars have, but they got a lot of size, a lot more than they've had in previous seasons on the outside.
Yeah, definitely, and that can only bode well for the offense and what they are able to do, the different types of sets and packages they run.
So 3rd and 26, Doyle's got to throw for a big one, has a man down the sideline, pass is caught right about the 20-yard line, and that will go for a Cougar touchdown. As the deep pass was caught by, I'm trying to figure out who it was.
That was TQ Gilmore, number 17. We're rocking a new number this year, but it looks good on him, especially on that first play.
Yes.
And here we go. The Cougars able to recover from that from that penalty, go right back down the big play, seize this momentum again. We are on the board, ladies and gentlemen.
65-yard touchdown pass from Doyle to TQ Gilmore, and the Cougars have a 6-0 lead.
TQ Gilmore, another one of those guys expected to play a major role on the offense, might chip in a little bit on special teams. Matt, he is the lone all-conference honoree from the 2019 season that actually made it back. So expecting big things from him.
5 touchdowns in 2019, so he's already got his first year of 2021. And the point after touch is good as Tyler Morrison comes on to kick it through. And the Cougars have a 7-0 lead over here at Antelope Valley College here in the first quarter. So pretty good start there, Jesse, from COC. Despite the penalty that brought a touchdown back, they still get a touchdown, and it's a big one on the pass from Doyle. And you really got to like the fact that he stands in the pocket, has some confidence, and fires it downfield.
Yeah, I think if you're head coach Ted Iacenda, you can't be really, happier with that drive. You said the penalty. Yeah, that's a setback. That's something you address. But to be able to come back, not let that stymie your drive, recover, and still get in the end zone, that's a great job.
So it's a 2-minute and 43-second drive for COC, and they end up going 65 yards. And they put it in the end zone for 6. And we'll get our first look at the Antelope Valley offense in just a few moments here, as Ty Morrison will kick it off here for Canyons. Morrison, a guy out of Valencia High School just down the road. We'll kick it. It'll get back to the end zone. It'll be brought out by Antelope Valley. Right up the middle. Room to move. Ball is loose. But I think still on the ground maybe as they fight for it at the 35-yard line. And it's AVC ball.
So that was Joshua Christopher that got there first. Made that hit and the ball popped up. Already contributing on special teams both sides on that kickoff return. That's a nice job.
It's Dedrick Moore who fielded the kickoff, and he's the best returner for Antelope Valley College. And I know if you're Coach Perry Chahika, you don't like to see that from your top guy.
Not at all, but if you're College of the Canyons, hey, maybe we didn't come away with it, but we laid that hit. We showed them that we're going to be looking for them, and maybe that gets in their head for the next go-round.
So we'll get our first look here at the COC defense. And we talked about Jonathan Thomas, Julian Salazar. The defensive line, really young. 10 freshmen on the defensive line this year. So we'll see if they can start to get some pressure here early on in the ball game.
Also, look for number 19, Taylor Lewis, one of those big-time returners from 2019 out of Chicago, Illinois. Big cog in the middle.
So they'll run the football here on first down, barreling right through the middle. I believe it was Xavier Clay. No, actually, it was Amir Bankhead, excuse me. And he'll move it again, gets about half the chains, a 5-yard gain on first down.
Again, Matt, a lot of names out there. We'll try and get to all of them. Taylor Lewis is one. We already talked about Jonathan Thomas.
As they'll run again here on second down. And a pile of Cougars right in to get to Bankhead. And he's tackled, maybe gets another yard, and I would say that it was probably Lewis that was on the inside there.
I think I saw number 51, Brian Snoke, in on that play, out of Paderborn, Germany. So one of the international Cougars here making his mark. Wonder if we've got anyone overseas watching us tonight.
We probably do. I would imagine we do. As we'll go here on 3rd and 3 for Antelope Valley. The quarterback, Caden Hinton, in second season. He'll hand off, and this time nowhere to go. In there to break it up early was Henry Aikihihifu to make the play. I'm sorry if I meant butchered that one, but
hey,
we'll
Matt,
get there.
I'm glad you had first crack at that name, but that's a young man that was in there, excited to be with the Cougars out of Paraclete High School and already making his impact felt.
We'll get it right. Aikihihifu.
Hey, we're all a little rusty. It's been a little bit of a layoff.
22 months.
We're so excited to be back. It'll take us a quarter. Bear with us, folks.
And Henry, but you're talking about him, guy from Paraclete, came down, obviously knows the program because of the Paraclete head coach, Dean Harrington, who was there. Harrington's have a long history here at COC. Guy that went to Nevada, was actually a tight end at Nevada before coming back down here to California. As a flag on the play, and I believe Antelope Valley College has used too much time, and they will back up 5 yards. So delay of game penalty against AVC, and the Marauders will back up to the 35-yard line, the original line of scrimmage, and they will punt from there. A couple of Cougars back deep to receive. High punt, wobbling. Elliott will let it land right about the 30-yard line, and it's picked up there by Antelope Valley College. The Cougars will take over at their own 29 here for their second drive of the ball game, leading 7-0.
Interested to see the philosophy here. You got the quick score, didn't take too much time off the ball. We know College of Canyons can pass. They've known for their passing attack, a lot of weapons out there. But I'd really be interested to see if Coach Ted Isenda wants to get that run game established. Seems like it would make sense to me. Like I said, with Cyrus Zool returning, a new young offensive line, get them going, get those big boys up front moving the line, and see what happens.
So the Cougars will come out. It'll actually move up to right about the 30-yard line to start here. 1st and 10. 10:04 to go here in the first quarter. Cougars up 7-0. As they'll put one in the backfield to Zool as Doyle will throw. Steps up in the pocket. He'll tuck it and run. Bounces around one man. Stays on his feet and is tripped up right about the 40-yard line, but good enough for a first down.
Yeah, nice little sidestep move there to get open, get into space. You like what he's been able to do with both his arm and his legs now. Coming into the game, like I said, we didn't have a lot of opportunities to see him. Weren't sure if that was a facet of his skill set, but so far so good. That was a good run.
Well, it's good to see, too, because you lose a guy in Armani Eden from 2019 that was one of his skill sets, the ability to run the ball when he needed to, the ability to throw the ball well, and Doyle seems to just fill that role right perfectly, and that's just what Ted Isenda wants in the offense. As we'll go on 2nd and down with 2 backs in the backfield this time, 3 wide on a couple on the far side of the field. As Doyle will take the direct snap. Fakes, wanted to hand it off. Now we'll just pitch it off to Zool. He stays on his feet, gets knocked back. As Womack was the first one in on the hit for Antelope Valley College, and it's a no gain back to the original line of scrimmage. It's a little broken there, Jesse.
I was going to say, it looked like maybe a little bit of confusion there. We were able to still get the completion, not much doing, but, you talk about broken plays and confusion, things can go a lot worse than that, so not bad.
It'll bring us to 2nd and 10. You take that, you get back to the line of scrimmage, you don't lose anything. And remember, first game, too, you score on the first drive. Pretty good start for COC. As they'll leave Zool in the backfield here on 2nd down. Doyle will roll out of the pocket, will throw downfield, trying to thread the needle, but he's not going to get it to Trayvon Elliott.
Yeah, just a little over Elliott's head. Move the pocket a little bit, let him roll out. I liked that. It was a good ball, just put a little bit too much on it.
So it'll bring us our second 3rd down of the ball game. Last time out on 3rd down, first time in that first drive, the Cougars able to pick up 10 yards and move the chains. Same thing on a 3rd down, except for that one was a 65-yard touchdown pass. So we'll see what Coach Isenda dials up here. It looks like a change in the offensive unit as they'll send out 4 receivers as Calvin Littles comes out to move on to the far side of the field. A bunch set. Doyle will throw, has pressure, and he's just going to tuck it and take the sack. Is into the backfield. Able to get to him first was Jalen Harvey. And there's a flag on the play as well. I would imagine that's in the area of a hold.
Yeah, I'd say a hold that didn't work out too well because he still got there anyway.
And actually, no, it's a penalty on the defense, so that's what we get for speculating. It's Dylan Hall that's going to pick up the personal foul, and that's a gift to the Cougars as it's going to move them forward here and reset a first down.
Gift in terms of the yardage, and like I said, you let Doyle takes a hit, gets popped a little bit, gets right back up, that's fine. But like I said, until you take that first hit, especially after a long layoff like that, you're never going to truly be comfortable. So we'll see again, maybe that works to his advantage.
So it'll move the ball up onto the Antelope Valley 43-yard line. And the Cougars have a new set of downs, 1st and 10 with 8:53 on the first quarter game clock. Zool stays in the backfield, 3 receivers to the near side as they will go RPO, and Doyle will keep it, and he'll move ahead 2 yards. Just a little 2-yard run, nothing big there. That'll bring 2nd down and 8.
Again, giving Doyle opportunities to use his legs. They must have seen something. They must know something we don't know yet, Matt.
I mean, first time we've seen football in 22 months, so definitely we're learning just as much as everybody else is learning, but obviously the Cougar coaching staff knows something we don't, and they should know something we don't. That's what they're paid for. As we go here on 2nd and 8, as we'll stay with the same bunch and movement up front, and it'll be a free play here, but the whistles blow it dead. And I believe the foul will go against Antelope Valley for encroachment on the play. Doyle throws his arms out like I wanted the ball.
Yeah, he's excited. He's feeling good right there, and the ball's coming out of his hand well. The Cougars will definitely take advantage of these penalties. And like you said, Matt, first game, there's a little bit of jitters, a little bit of maybe undisciplined. I mean, it's out of both sides. Cougars taking advantage of it for the time being.
I mean, you talk about Antelope Valley, who last year was 20th in their conference in penalties against. They had 42 penalties in their conference games. They had 91 during the season. Obviously, that 2019 team pretty much all gone, but still, it's a relevant number. It's a team that generally, all things considered, pretty good on the penalty front.
Mm-hmm.
As we'll go here on 2nd and 3. Cougars trying to get themselves into formation here, and they are going to have to take a timeout. And I know that's not going to make Ted Isenda very happy. It's not going to make David Banks, the offensive coordinator, very happy, as they had plenty of time to get going.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of that body language as they make their way out on the field. Again, if that's going to happen, first quarter is the best time for it to get these young men settled down, get them dialed back into what you want them to be doing. And at this point of the field, I mean, we're in striking distance again.
So timeout on the field. 7-0 Cougars, 7:43 to go here in the first quarter. Don't go anywhere. We'll stay right here with it, as it's been a good start for COC, all things considered. They score a touchdown on their first drive. They get a stop on their first defensive set. And, 22 months off, you got to be pretty happy about it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's a good start. Just the fact that you walked down those stairs, you took the field in the Cougar blue and gold. I mean, that's enough to get excited the first quarter. You throw a touchdown on that, a little bit of momentum going forward.
I know I certainly was ready to go. I know you and I were sitting up here in the booth just absolutely amped, waiting to get to call the game. It's been a long time since we've been up here and fallen back into a little bit of a rhythm ourselves, as the boys do on the field. As we go here on 2nd and 3 from the 36, Doyle spins around, little trickery play, pass caught by Wiggins. He's got room to move, tripped up right about the 20-yard line, but it's good enough for a Cougar first down.
Oh, it just barely tripped him up. Shoestring tackle. You saw that little bit of burst, had some blockers out in front of him, led by, looked like number 70. We already talked about him, Santisteban, out there in front. So fully recovered from that lower leg injury from last time. And again, Cougars in business.
I think, Jesse, you correct me if I'm wrong, but you got to like what you've seen from this young offensive line unit so far here early in the game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we have a long history of producing, talented offensive linemen. Coach Mark Dumlow does a good job no matter who he's got out there.
As we'll go here on 1st and 10 from the 17. Cougars in the red zone for the first time today. They'll hand off to Haynes, his first carry of the ball game. He's met in the backfield and will be pulled down at the 20-yard line. Maybe got back to the 19. Yeah,
tough going for Moises there on his first carry. But like to see him in at the 20s. At the 20 in the red zone. Here comes Cyrus Zool. So to be able to have that combination, to flip those two big backs out there, both have those skill sets, can bounce outside or go in between like we talked about. A lot of options for the offense.
Haynes is a guy only had 5 or more carries 2 times during the 2019 season. His best game, a 40-yard game against Grossmont in the second game of the season. So you'd like to see him get some early handoffs and get going here as we go on 2nd and 11. With Zool back in the backfield. Doyle will throw, has pressure immediately, tried the shovel pass, and it's a forward pass, so it'll be incomplete.
Yeah, the Marauders got a little excited. You see that ball on that ground, those big boys are looking to pounce on it, but like you said, forward pass, no damage there. 3rd and 11, and now we're down to crunch time.
It's a dangerous play from Cole there to push that forward, but at the same time, it's a little bit of a smart play as he knows he can shovel it right into a space where maybe nobody can get to it and avoid a big sack.
And that's the thing, limiting those mistakes, limiting those sacks, keeping yourself in contention. I mean, they can score from right here. They can get a first down and continue the drive. A lot of play options here for the coaching staff.
Definitely within range for Ty Morrison, the freshman kicker from Valencia High School. So we'll go on 3rd and 11. 6:23 to go here in the first quarter. Doyle will throw. Plenty of time. Will throw underneath. Littles will catch it right about the 15-yard line. Then got hit after he got tackled by Ramon Huff. It was Augustin Lorfis in on the secondary hit. And it's a few yards, but it'll bring up 4th down.
Calvin Littles out of Gainesville, Florida, St. Francis High School. Probably has some family watching back east. Want to say hello to them. And also, we just got a quick shout out from Coach O, our former offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach now at Delaware State. Very excited for him. Very excited to see him move on and follow his dreams. But at the same time, we miss you, Coach.
As the Cougars will kick here, it's going to be a 35-yarder for Morrison. And the kick is up. And you can count it on the board. So a 10-0 lead here for COC as the freshman kicker gets his first opportunity And the Cougars with a lead.
And again, you like to be able to see, I mean, of course, you're disappointed, just have to settle for the field goal. Hey, it's still points on the board. I think the most important thing is you get that young man out an opportunity to get on the field, get one under his belt, following in some big shoes to fill in Tanner Brown.
Tanner Brown, yeah.
A former All-American kicker who did some great things while here at College of the Canyons. So, again, maybe another weapon following in those footsteps.
7-play, 51-yard drive for the Cougars, as the field goal was there, and COC with a 10-0 lead, as we've got 5:36 to go here in the first quarter. So 2 possessions, 2 scores. If you're Ted Eisender, you're pretty happy.
Yeah, you're right on track. And, let this defense get back out there, do their thing. I think what they have, 4 or 5 plays last time. We barely even got to speak on them. So,
as we'll get a chance to talk about them more as the game goes on, as it'll be Derek Moore back to receive. And actually, it'll be Ramon Huff back to receive. He'll pick it up inside the end zone, cuts it back across the 20, and he's hit by a plethora of Cougars. And it looked like it was Brian Snoke again.
Yeah, Brian Snoke. He took the words right out of my mouth, making his impact on special teams. And, Matt, a lot of times with the amount of talent on both sides of the ball, it's a good way for these young players to break in, make their mark on special teams. I mean, it's an important facet of the game. It sounds like a cliche, the 3 stages of the game, but you can go out there and make a name for yourself, on the return, the defense.
It's a spot that gets talked about a lot in the NFL among rookies making an impact in the special teams. In college football, everybody's got to make an impact on special teams to get somewhere, get a start because of the size of the rosters. As on first down, swatted out of the air, as it was Aika Hihifu once again in the backfield to create problems for Caden Hinton.
And almost just took that right out of the air and into the end zone. I bet you when he sees that tape, he'll be a little disappointed in himself, but no fault, young man. You broke up the play, blew it up. Here we go, 2nd and 15.
Remember, this is a guy in high school. He was an all-conference offensive player, all-league offensive player in high school. He went to Nevada as a tight end, now playing on the defensive side, showing his athleticism.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can make that type of transition from the other side of the ball, you're an athlete.
As Hinton will try and throw, and that one into space. The target was intended for Bankhead, but he couldn't find him. It'll bring up 3rd and 15.
And pressured by Cole Bullock, the linebacker out of Chatsworth, Sierra Canyon kid. Again, I like the attack from the Cougars here early on, making the Marauders, struggle to find their footing, and don't let them get comfortable.
We'll see if they dial it up here on 3rd down. As Dan Corbett likes to go with that 3-man front, brings in 4 linebackers and an extra D-back at times. As Antelope Valley delays, they look over to the sideline. Perry Jalika kind of making a change on the play. Hinton in the backfield, has Bankhead back with him. Will take the direct snap. Cougars trying to get pressure on him. Will flush him out of the pocket. He's got room to run. Will get across the first down marker all the way up to the 40-yard line. Good run for Caden Hinton as he had plenty of room to work and takes it. Yeah,
and they just barely got that play off. I almost saw the official grab for his flag just in the nick of time, and then that's what happened. So maybe a little bit of a breakdown from the Cougars, not containing the edge. I know they had a lot of guys back in coverage. It's a great job by the Marauders to fight for that first down.
And it was Brian Snoke on the initial pressure. He knocked his man over, but I think that's what gave Hinton the hold to kind of run up the side. As we'll go here on 1st and 10, first down of the ball game for Antelope Valley. They'll give it to Bankhead. He's met in the middle of the field by Joshua Madison, but able to get a couple more yards afterwards. It's a nice chunk, an 8-yard gain on first down.
But Madison, a good job coming up to the line and making that hit, slowing him down, and eventually taking him down. That's a nice job.
So 2nd down and 2 here from the Cougar 46-yard line, 47-yard line. Bankhead on the inside, that time swallowed up. And they'll say he got a yard, and I think it was Snoke back in there once again.
Snoke and Taylor Lewis around the end, around the bottom. We talked about him, big dude in the middle, can definitely clog up that run game, but had 2 or 3 sacks last year, has that ability to get to the quarterback. And so, again, a versatile weapon out there. 2
sacks, 3 tackles for a loss. He had 19 total tackles, 12 of those solo tackles during the 2019 season. And he's really going to be looked at to replace Seymour Schultz, Peoples-Brown, and the rest of the bunch that was there. As they'll run through the middle with Xavier Clay this time, and he'll get just enough, maybe a half yard enough to get to the chains and get Antelope Valley another first down.
Just enough, but for a minute it looked like Dean Miller was in the backfield ready to blow that up. I don't know what happened. They just slipped right past him. He got a hand on him, and it was that push. It was that that bush push type play.
I knew you were going to go with it.
Well, you know, I had to reference the Trojans here on
we got two of us up here, so
on opening week. But yeah, same type of play was good enough for the first down.
So right at midfield, first down for Antelope Valley. Their second first down of the drive, as they've moved the ball well a couple of times, including that big run from Caden Hinton to push him up towards midfield. As Hinton in the backfield will throw quickly here on first down, and it's just too high. It was intended for Carlos Hill, and he just couldn't come down with it. It was in and out of one hand.
So again, the Marauders able to pick up those first downs when they need to, prolong the drive a couple times, but then it's almost like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and they're not able to get anything sustained. And for the Cougars, hey, like bend don't break. They get the first down, you refocus, come back in, and line up and do it again.
Well, that was a hallmark of the 2019 defense, and it's really been a hallmark under Ted Iacetta of that bend, don't break style. As they'll throw here to the outside, Devon Jones will make the catch, and he's able to get a big chunk, call it 8 yards, across midfield to the Cougar 43.
Yeah, you know, the defensive philosophy of Ted Iacetta, but also defensive coordinator Dan Corbett, who's had some great defensive performances the last couple of years, dating back to 2018. Team was the top-ranked defense in the state. 2019 followed that right back up, and here we are in 2021.
And 2019 the defense was, you can't complain about them at all. Right in the middle of the pack, but again, the bend don't break style. It's just enough to get the offense back out on the field and let them score points. As we'll go here on third and three, passes, I think deflected at the line maybe, or did he just let it go loose? I kind of looked down and looked back up, and it was way into the Cougar bench.
Yeah, same thing. I think he just put a little bit too much on it. Definitely had some people in his face and around the area, maybe make it unsettle him a bit. But here we go, 4th down again.
And we'll see what the Marauders decide to do. It looks like they're going to go for it here on 4th and 3. And early in the first quarter, and you're down 10, you might as well. You're on the other side of the midfield stripe, as flags immediately, and now maybe we'll see a punt as they're going to back up 5 yards.
Yeah, you know, I didn't really understand that decision-making as far as running an offensive play. I thought they might come up and try and, you know, let the play clock kick down, maybe get the Cougars to jump. I went ahead and went for the snap, and that just didn't work out either. So
Cougar defense does its job again. We talk about bend, don't break. I mean, in 2019, they were 27th or 37th in the state in points against per game. They allowed 27, but you look down the line and seven fumble recoveries. They were 9th in the state in tackles or sacks, with 37, first in defensive 41st in defensive touchdowns. So, I mean, they were a pretty good squad in terms of the defensive side. As that one, bounces and gets towards the end zone. I'm not sure if that touched, and they say no, it did not. That was a dangerous look from Calvin Littles there, almost fielded it.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Might have skimmed his leg, and if I'm a Marauder, I'm pouncing on that ball in the end zone. But they're a little bit closer, saw it much better than we did. No need to make that jump.
So it'll be a Cougar first down on their own 20-yard line here with 2:04 to go in the first quarter, and they have a 10-0 lead. All in all, a pretty solid start for COC. Can't complain about it one bit. You get 2 defensive stops, you get 2 offensive scores.
And here we go with a big chunk of field in front of us to work. Again, you know, the pass play has been there. We've seen that. I'd like to see the run game get established here. But, hey, if you're moving the ball and scoring points, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're doing.
Well, I'm sure that's part of what Coach wants to do coming into this first game. Obviously, you want to win every game you play, but you also are trying to get some work in, see what we've got, see where we're going to be successful. And you expect Cyrus Zool to get going at some point in time. We saw it in 2019, so there's no reason not to expect it here. As Doyle will throw on first down, he'll throw to the outside. Pass was caught by Hunt. He's able to spin around, maybe get 5 yards. We'll see where they mark it. And it'll bring up second down.
Really likes looking for Hunt over on that left side of the field. I think that's the 3rd time they were able to connect. But, Matt, going back to the offensive philosophy here, let's remember David Banks, new offensive coordinator. He's a former receivers coach, an offensive guy. You know he loves to see him air it out, get all his guys involved. And so far, I mean, we've called 4 or 5 different receiver names. So
And I would expect to see the same thing like we talked about with the talent and the size on the Cougar wide receiving core for them to get the opportunities. Haynes outside the tackle will have room to run, cuts it back inside, and bounces up to the 35-yard line. Good run for Moises Haynes.
Great run from Moises Haynes. And, that's what we saw out of him from Valencia. That ability, that kind of more of a dynamic back. 2019, limited opportunities. But I think the fact that he stuck here, remember, he was just a freshman.
Yeah.
He's a young pup coming off the high school field, making his way with these guys. You fast forward almost 2 years later, he's bigger, he's stronger, he's smarter, more disciplined. I mean, the attributes can only grow, and you've seen it right there.
He's definitely bigger this year,
Yeah.
215
Yes,
now
sir.
instead of where he was last in 2019.
Yep.
And remember, he's a little bit, I would say, in terms of height-wise, an undersized guy at 5'10", but you put on that muscle, and it's 215 of muscle, folks. It's not a different 215.
I was going to say, bumped into him in the locker room, looked stout, looked strong, and as you just saw, was quick out there as well.
And the good thing about that, it gives two guys the Cougars have in him and Zould that are stout, able to run between the tackles and go. And they go even deeper. They have a Samaje Freeman, who's just a freshman, who I think a guy that maybe not this year, but maybe next year could really make an impact. He was a guy at Oaks Christian that was very, very good as well.
Yeah, we haven't seen him yet, but I got to tell you, my insider at Oaks Christian was definitely familiar with the name, said this is a young man to watch out for, was actually surprised that he had gone the JUCO route. But saw something that he liked here, and we are happy to have him here at College of the Canyons.
Yeah, he was a guy who had offers from Nevada, New Mexico, Northern Arizona, Valparaiso, but, we'll take him here as the Cougars just love to have that depth as games go on.
In the circumstances of the COVID climate, sometimes just circumstances didn't allow for those types of opportunities to carry them out. Like I said, things happen for a reason sometimes. Glad to have him.
Well, there's been other changes, too. I know in other states, they actually moved their football season completely to the spring, and that's changed the recruiting platform for a lot of NCAA teams. So it helps out for COC as now you've got even more eyes on you here in 2021. As really, that's always been the goal of the program, get these guys moved on.
Absolutely. And Coach Ted Iacenda would agree 100%. We get these young men in, get them to the next level, help them to pursue their dreams and passions, whatever those might be.
So we'll go on 1st and 10 here from the 36-yard line as Haynes stays in the backfield for the Cougars. Doyle will keep it on an RPO, rolls, wants to throw for a big chunk downfield, and it's knocked out of the air by DeJohn Sanders. He was looking once again for Andre Hunt, and they just got into a battle, and Sanders was able to win it.
Looking for Hunt. Looked like Hunt had a step, and then, like you said, got a little bit tangled up there. Ball maybe a little underthrown. But the outcome, you can live with it here on 2nd and 10.
Yeah, you take a shot on the first play, and you like to see that from David Banks, dialing it up, not afraid to throw the ball downfield with basically a freshman quarterback.
Absolutely, and like I said, Colton Doyle, every ball out of his hand has looked good. I mean, he's been spinning it. He's been able to get it down the field. So here in the first quarter, you got to love to see that.
As we'll go here on 2nd down, he'll throw once again, looking over the middle, pass caught by Trayvon Elliott. He'll cut it to the outside, stays on his feet across the 45, and finally knocked out of bounds right about the 42-yard line of Antelope Valley.
Trayvon Elliott breaking out the high knee, almost tried to make a juke there. Love to see it as he comes across the middle, and then right here to the sideline, ready to go, and there just wasn't that space. But Trayvon Elliott, North Central High School, Indianapolis, Indiana.
And we talked about him being an impact guy. We said 502 yards in 2019, averaged 41.8 yards a game. That was second behind Alonzo Henderson, who's obviously moved on to other places. So you just expect the numbers to continue to tick up for him. As Doyle to throw here on 1st down, has a man downfield looking, caught right about the 5-yard line, into the end zone. Cougar touchdown. It was Tim Wiggins on the catch.
Tim Wiggins, he got his touchdown back, negated by the penalty early in the first quarter. And again, look at this young man, bigger, stronger, faster than we saw him 2 years ago, and making an impact. I know the offensive staff was very excited about him.
Only had 12 catches in 2018 for 192 yards and a touchdown. Already has a couple here today. Certainly looks good.
And let me point this out. Special number he's wearing, number 6. So that belonged formerly to a 1 Marquise Brown and a 1 Tim White.
We'll talk about that, or one of them here in a couple minutes. As a fumbled snap by the holder on the point after, as Tuni Aikahihifu not able to hold it. So it's a 6-point score. We don't get the extra point, so it's 16-0 in favor of the Cougars. But 3 drives, 3 scores.
Hey, it doesn't get much better than that. A little bit of a mishap there on special teams. Again, first game, you get that cleaned up. Very excited, like I said, from the receivers and from Colton Doyle, being able to find those receivers, find them in space. The timing is there. Hey, everything's clicking so far.
I mean, you can't ask for a better start, really, if you're the Cougars after 22 months off.
Mm-hmm.
All the new things that they've had to battle. We talked about it. We heard it from Ted Iacenda, having to have meetings over Zoom and make sure everybody was spaced and not necessarily getting everything that they needed to get in. And obviously, it's gone over pretty well so far here early for the Cougars, as they will kick it away here in just a moment. Ty Morrison will take care of it for us here. There's a couple of new bodies back to receive here for Antelope Valley. Morrison this time will kick it through the back of the end zone for a touchback, and Antelope Valley will take over on the 25-yard line. So the Cougars 5 plays, 80 yards, a minute 37 off the clock. They score. And they have a 16-0 lead here in the first quarter. We've got Jesse back with us now. Obviously, had to bounce off Mike for a minute, but Jesse, if you don't, folks at home don't understand, Jesse's the SID. He's helping us out here on the broadcast, making sure he gives us some color commentary. Occasionally, he has to bounce off and take care of some other duties. That's what makes you the best in the business, in my opinion. Able to do it and bounce right back in.
Kind words, Matt. There's a lot going on up here, and every game's an adventure.
As on the run, it's pulled ahead by Chambo Wright getting his first carry of the ball game, and he gets a nice chunk, 6 yards. And so Antelope Valley had a schedule here on first down. So a pretty good start for COC as we look at some of the offensive numbers, really airing the football out. 191 total yards of offense, 168 yards passing. I mean, you talk about high-flying offense, that's really what they're looking for and looking at right now, as they have a 16-0 lead at the end of the first quarter. And it'll give us a chance to talk about some other guys out there. We had some good news come out yesterday. Cougars, a couple of guys in the pros, one on a practice squad, one who we know about on the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, let me talk to you about first Brian Mills out of the class of 2018 for the Cougars. Actually signed as an undrafted free agent with the Seattle Seahawks earlier this season. Was in camp with them, unfortunately was cut, but one door closes, another opens. Immediately signed almost the next week with the New Orleans Saints, finished up camp with them, was in a couple preseason games, and like you said, Matt, just got word yesterday that he has been signed to the New Orleans Saints practice squad. So very excited for that young man out of Quartz Hill High School, Palmdale, California. North Carolina Central after he left here, and there he is. There's that young man. North Carolina Central, a historically black college university. Went there, was an All-American his first year. Sat out his last season due to COVID-19. Went to the Senior Bowl and just showed out. Made a name for himself, and now here he is on a pro team. And then the other one we just want to reference, Cougar legend Marquise Brown, class of 2016. Story about Marquise is legendary. Came to COC, a young, skinny kid working at Magic Mountain, got into the games, and boom, the rest was history.
And yeah, he's certainly made an impact on that Baltimore Ravens squad. I hope he gets to make an impact this year, because that'll help my fantasy team. I have Lamar Jackson.
Well, I was going to say, always a popular pick in the CSC Fantasy League. He went early this year.
I tried to get him, but he got snapped up before me. I was a little disappointed.
Yep, same here. But Marquise, we are always watching and rooting. And best of luck this season. Same to you, Brian Mills.
So first down for Antelope Valley after they moved the chains on the first play on a nice little run. Actually, it was the second play of the drive, excuse me. So they go 1st and 10 here from their own 37-yard line as they look back to the sidelines and reset the play here. So ABC certainly trying to slow things down, keep the ball out of COC's hands. As Hinton will throw here. He throws across the far side, and a big chunk of the chains on the first play. And it was Collins on the catch. So it'll bring up 2nd down. And here's Collins, the guy that was listed as a defensive back, but slotting in as a receiver here on this drive.
And the Cougars bringing in some new personnel. Everyone getting a chance. Everyone getting in on rotation.
Handoff here. Nowhere to go for Chabo Wright. Ball is out, but the whistles blow. And it looked like
I think
it was Vredenberg that was in there first.
Vredenberg, but watch Jonathan Thomas come in over the top and kind of get him by the shoulders. I think we had a JT sighting. If we can see that replay.
We might get it. We might not. It happens. First game, working out some kinks on all sides here. And it looks like we'll go here on 3rd and 3 instead. Ball on the Antelope Valley 44-yard line. I think you might have been right. I think JT was in there as well, which is expected. He flies around the field. His handoff again, and I'm not sure that Wright was able to get to the first down marker. He might be about a half a yard short, and it was a trio of Cougars in there to make the tackle.
Yeah, a lot of dudes in on that play, but I think I saw Julian Salazar kind of close it up and push him back inside. Salazar, first chance we've had to call his name, but another guy, Hart High School, makes a lot of plays out there.
Well, and you expect that out of him. He had 29 tackles in 2019, but remember, he was on the second line of the depth chart as he was just stacked behind a few good linebackers in the middle, and he's really a guy that we saw at Hart High School make a lot of impact plays. As they'll load up the line and movement on the line by Antelope Valley as they loaded everybody up, and it was Julian Blackwell, the wide receiver, who was on the inside that is going to get called for the false start.
And Cougars excited about that. Push him back. It's turning back over to the offense. Cougar defense doing good things out there. Like you said, a lot of bodies. Dan Corbett doing a great job getting them in and out. And Matt, as we look below, this is a great crowd here tonight. On opening night here in 2021.
It's
Glad
free
to have
admission.
everyone back.
So everybody coming out to show up as the punt is away, nearly blocked. And it'll be fielded right about the 30-yard line by Littles and nearly able to get to it. I believe it was Simon Sampson that nearly blocked it. Yeah, it was.
Simon Sampson, Tustin High School. In there, like you said, that must have been millimeters away from a block. That would have been another big-time play.
So it's 16-0 in favor of the Cougars. As they will start on their own 31-yard line here. And Zool will start in the backfield for COC with 3 receivers on the near side. As it looks like Zool and Doyle kind of discussing where they want to be, and now they're set up and ready to go. They'll hand off to Zool. Not much room for him to run. And he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and that was it.
Yeah, not much doing there. And again, we keep talking about the run game. If it's not there, why not just go back to what's working with you?
I mean, 168 net yards passing here in the first quarter for the COC Cougars. The rushing game really it hasn't been there quite yet. They've only run the ball 4 times, 5 times maybe. Actually, as I look at it, 7, and they've got 23 net rushing yards. So, I mean, they just haven't had many opportunities to move. As they'll go 5 wide here on 2nd and 10. As Doyle will quickly sling it out to Littles. He has room to move, and he's able to get across the 40-yard line. We'll see where the marker is, and I think Trey Elliott probably got away with a little bit of a hold, but the Cougars will take it.
Well, I was about to applaud him for that block.
I think he grabbed him a little bit.
Certainly got the job done, and you like to see it, but yeah, maybe moving forward a little bit, a little tighter in there around the cylinder.
Yes, you'll take it as it gets the Cougars to move the chains. Another first down for COC. Early on in the ball game, Cougars with 9 first downs. Has 11:22 to go here in the second quarter. COC up 16-0. As they've slowed things down themselves, as Doyle will throw here on 1st and 10. Steps up, will tuck it and run. Gets the edge, has plenty of room. Across midfield, stays on his feet, cuts it back inside, and finally falls down right about the 25-yard line.
Colton Doyle showing a little bit of a burst out there. I mean, field wide open, but you see as he turns the corner here, and just boom, that guy had the angle on him. He still got around him. Stumbles here a little bit. That's a nice run. That'll get the job done every time.
Absolutely. Good run for COC as Doyle flashing the legs. And the Cougars have moved the football once again.
And again, right here in striking distance, whole playbook's open.
As they'll go from the 26-yard line, they'll hand off to Zool, spins inside, flag in the area of a hold, so this one may move back.
We'll see what the penalty is. I kind of thought there was a hold to the outside. Cyrus Zool certainly know better than me, bounced it back inside. We'll see what this penalty does.
So holding on the offense, it's going to go against Vincent Casillas. So just the first penalty of the game on COC, which all things considered pretty good. That was kind of an area of concern at times back in 2019, but very early on, doing a pretty good job.
Well, I think no matter who the head coach is or what game you're playing, penalties are an area of concern. But, oh, here we go, free play.
Yeah, as Doyle will throw, looking down the sideline to the near side, and Gilmore can't come down with it as he's hit right as the ball gets there by Brosley.
That was a fine defensive play getting there. Perfect timing between him and TQ Gilmore. Free play didn't work out. Line back up and do it again.
So the penalty against COC moves him back. Then the free play puts him at the same place, so we'll do it again, 2nd and 20. As Doyle with that hard count again was trying to get him to jump. He's seeing something on the defensive side. As he'll have Zool in the backfield, 2 receivers out to each side. There's 10-10 to go here in the first half. And I don't think that got off in time, and it did not. It's delay of game against COC.
Yeah, waited just a little bit too long. Checking with the sideline. You see Coach Ted Iceland his head tilt. You know, he's not happy with that. And now that's back-to-back penalties.
Yep, back-to-back penalties. You kind of saw him with his play sheet kind of tapping it on the side of his leg, and that was maybe a little bit of, I'm not happy, but I'm gonna calm myself here. It's been a good first half.
And that's where the area of concern. I mean, before you were right there in striking distance, now you're almost back to midfield.
So you've got 2nd and 25. You've got to get all the way to the Antelope Valley 16 for a first down. As Doyle will throw here, caught by Gilmore, kind of shimmies and shakes right about the 40-yard line, and all of that for really nothing, didn't get anywhere.
Yeah, just couldn't get north-south before the Marauders closed in on him. Able to haul it in, get a little bit back, not much. And now it'll be interesting to see what Coach Banks wants to do here on 3rd down. I mean, obviously passing situation, but, what do you come at him with? 2nd down.
There's a flag in the backfield. We'll see what the flag is for. It was back near the line of scrimmage, maybe just behind the line of scrimmage.
Meanwhile, folks still pouring into Cougar Stadium, taking advantage of that free admission and Busy Bees barbecue down there. That's a hot draw.
So 3 straight plays with 3 straight penalties. That time a personal foul against Cyrus Zool, and the ball will move all the way back onto the Cougar side of midfield. So 3 really good drives. This one is kind of slowed down, and penalties aiding the problems for COC.
Yeah, and you see Coach Ted Ice and his frustration down there, trying to get his guys dialed back in and try and get going forward again. Going the wrong way right now.
So we'll go here again on 2nd down, and it's 2nd and forever. We'll call it 40. That's probably a guesstimate, I would say, somewhere in that range. As Doyle will throws over the middle, pass is caught, and it's Trey Elliott trying to make something happen, still on his feet, reverses his field for the 2nd time, and fights his way all the way up to the 40-yard line. You gotta like that.
Yeah, gotta like the heart in that play, coming across the middle. Tried to line up his blocks, got as far as he could. And like I said, with that much real estate in front of you before the first down, you just get what you can. Line up and do it again. Still a long 3rd down.
3rd and forever still, we'll say. They'll say 24 on the scoreboard. So Cougars again need to get to the 16-yard line of Antelope Valley, maybe the 15. And Doyle almost had AVC moving over the line again, as the Cougars will delay. Got to get going here. Only 5 on the play clock. As they get it off just in time. Doyle will step up in the pocket, looking downfield, throws, has Gilmore near the end zone, caught, and he brings it down for a Cougar touchdown.
TQ Gilmore, number 17, looking sharp out there, making a play. You just see him get behind his guys. Had to wait slightly for the ball, but by then it was too late.
And another good throw from Colton Doyle.
He's spinning it today. The ball's coming out of his hand well. He's hitting his marks. This young man's got a bright future ahead of him if this continues.
4 drives, 4 scores for COC.
And again, Matt, what's most impressive, the 3 back-to-back-to-back penalties, takes them all the way to midfield, and just like that, boom, boom, 2 plays, you're in the end zone.
As the point after, this time is very clean, and it goes through, so make it 23-0 COC. Call it a 6-play, 80-yard drive for the Cougars, I think. Actually, we'll wait for the drive summary to get updated here. But regardless, 23-0, 8:26 to go in the first half. And, I mean, any thoughts? I mean, you can't really complain, Jesse. I mean, there's nothing to complain about.
No, like you said, a couple mishaps on that snap. The special teams, the penalties here, but the Cougars able to overcome those. Defense looks good. I mean, clicking on all cylinders here early. Very exciting, Matt.
You got to like the way they look. And remember, COC starting the year 9th in the 3C2A poll. So one of the top 5 teams in the SCFA, I would say, by those numbers. As San Mateo gets the number 1 ranking. Riverside, the defending state champions, gets the number 2 ranking. I don't understand how that works out. I can't compute that in my mind. I mean, Riverside went 13-0 last year, 2019. Then Ventura, who we'll see here at Cougar Stadium in a few weeks' time, late in the season. Modesto in there, San Francisco, Fullerton, American River, San Antonio, and then Canyons at 9.
And Matt, don't forget, Cougars slated for a rematch versus Riverside City College. Met them 2 years ago. That game will be here on October the 2nd, but Cougars met them 2 years ago in the SoCal Championship game. Fortunate outcome for College of the Canyons, but, you know, anytime you lose to the team that goes on to win the state championship, no reason to hang your head. They are always a very strong program, and that will be a tremendous matchup here on October the 2nd.
That game, remember, that game was at Riverside, long drive.
A little bit of weather
out there. It rained that day. We were both there for that one.
Thanksgiving week, you know, that's always a challenge. But making no excuses, Riverside definitely earned their state championship.
And that was, I was going to say, it was a very good Riverside team on the other side.
An exceptional team, but we're excited to see them back here.
As hit in the backfield, popped by a couple of Cougars.
Well, I know that was Julian
Yes, it was.
And he is hyped out there. That ball popped out.
And Hinton is not comfortable after that.
And he did not even see him coming. And you see, fortunate, the Marauder lineman was able to jump out. But that's the type of hit that will get you going, get this defensive unit to rally around you. I mean, it's not like they're not already playing well. You get a couple hits like that going, and it could be a long night for the Marauders.
Marcus Fleming right around the ball there, too, for COC. And, I mean, it's only a matter of time till Salazar and Thomas and Taylor Lewis names just get called on every other play for COC. As Hinton stays in, throws to the outside, pass is caught, pushed out of bounds by Vradenberg. And it's a 6-yard gain. It'll bring up 3rd down.
So I think a big 3rd down here. I mean, they're all big, but anytime you can get a hit like that, you want to sustain that momentum, turn the ball over, get your offense back on the field. Let's get to 30 here and see what happens. First things first, though.
Yeah, got to do the job on defense. It's 3rd and 3, and we've seen the Cougars bend but not break in these situations often. This time they're going to allow a big run by Amir Bankhead, who just had a hole on the inside. And Lewis was there to try and break it up, just couldn't get his big arms wrapped around him.
No, and a well-blocked play by the Marauders to be able to line up, see what you needed to see what you needed to get and get it. That's a good job.
So it'll bring up 1st down from the 43-yard line of Antelope Valley as they'll hand off, and again, room to run through the middle. across midfield, still on his feet is Bankhead, and finally just ran out of bounds at about the Cougar 32-yard line. We'll see where they mark it.
Yeah, broke a tackle there and got an extra 4 or 5 yards. That'll certainly help. You see here number 1, Abdul Latif Adu, just couldn't bring him down.
First time we've had a chance to talk about him today. The returner on the defensive side for the defensive backs that's really expected to make a big impact as a shutdown corner, as they stayed away from him all day, and rightfully so if you're Antelope Valley, as they throw to the far side. Pass caught by Arius Collins, and he's tackled right about the line of scrimmage, so it'll bring up second down.
I want to say that was number 13, Avi Harris, fighting through the block, able to get to the ball carrier. That's a nice job, young man.
As Avi Harris, another guy on the outside that we expect to really pick up some slack. I mean, remember, COC was deep in 2019 on the defensive backfield as well. I mean, deep all over on the defensive side is met right in the middle, was Bankhead by Salazar, and he gets him right in the face and slams him down.
Yeah, you know, Matt, have a strong reputation for having a stout secondary. You go all the way back to that 2018 team. 7 defensive backs went to D1 schools out of that team, including Brian Mills, who we just highlighted a bit ago. But again, no shortage of talent again for Coach Corbett in the defensive backfield.
That'll bring up 3rd and 8 here. As Hinton throws his towel away as he tries to get set up. As he stays with Bankhead in the backfield, he'll throw here, has to get it off, throws over the middle, picked off by COC. Jovan Camacho comes down with it, and he's going to try and return it back the other way. Still on his feet, flags all over the field. This will probably get brought back on the return, but it's the first interception of the season, and it goes for a local boy, Jovan Camacho.
No, that's awesome. Again, another one of those guys that stuck with us, was a freshman in 2019. Able to come in and make that play. Another talented defensive back out there.
Absolutely.
And how about the pressure on that Marauders quarterback? I mean, my God, no wonder he threw it up.
Got a hand. We've already called him like 4 or 5 times.
The pride of Germany out there, just getting to the quarterback with reckless abandon. That was awesome.
I mean, Snoke was a guy we know nothing about coming in, and he's looked absolutely just a player so far here early on.
He's looked great, and like I said, I can only hope he's got some family over in Germany watching tonight.
And so it's a Cougar first down. The return gets negated. It'll move the ball all the way back inside the Cougar 25-yard line to the 23, but still an interception, first pick of the season for Jovan Camacho. And the Cougars will start again.
And you can certainly live with that. You'd never like to see the penalty, but the turnover, the pressure on the quarterback, that's only going to lead to bigger and better things as we continue to get going.
As we go back to work here on 1st and 10 with the Cougars having the football, as Doyle kind of looks over to the sidelines, wants to get set back up, ready to go. As he'll take the snap and hand off to Moises Haynes, and nowhere for him to go as he ran right into the arms of Dylan Hall and maybe got the line of scrimmage, maybe.
Yeah, nothing going there. I think the most important thing on this drive, 5.5 minutes to go. You don't want to make any mistakes. You're down here by your end zone. Sure, it'd be nice to get another touchdown, but I think the key, limit the mistakes, move the ball. Let's go into the half, keep this momentum that we built the whole way.
I was going to ask, you're in your 5-minute offense here, trying to just eat the clock up as much as you can?
I don't think at this point. I think, you know, it's always a go-go, especially this early in the game. If you can get another one here, great, but again, you don't want any mistakes.
As Doyle will throw here on 2nd and 11, throws over the middle, pass caught by Calvin Little, sidesteps a man. Nice move, and he gets enough for a first down all the way up to the Cougar 35-yard line.
Good job, Colton Doyle reading the field. Looked like he had a couple options. I saw Cyrus Sewell swing out, and that's who I thought he would go to, but saw a better option there. Nice job finding his man.
So it'll bring out another first down for COC, and they've been moving the chains very well today. Last check of numbers, it was only 8 first downs, but I think it's got to be close to 10, 11 now as the stats still working to update. As Doyle flushed, he just stays downfield, looks downfield, throws it, and it's caught by TQ Gilmore.
Wow. All right, let's start with Colton Doyle rolling out here. Look at this. 2 men on him, turns on the burst, gets to the corner, comes, launches it up, and there's old number 17, TQ Gilmore. They're making another big play. Looking good, young man.
Doyle never took his eyes out from downfield.
You know, you hate to see him lock in on a receiver from time to time. That was an instance when he had his guy locked in, he hit the corner and found him.
You take anything you can get on that one, and you get a big old chunk as COC moves the ball all the way up to the Antelope Valley 26-yard line. And we'll go 1st and 10 with 3:45 to go here in the first half. 23-0 Cougars, as Canyons is just dominated on both sides of the ball here early on as they throw for the end zone. And unable to come down with it was Andre Hunt. There to defend it was Deshaun Sanders.
But again, the ball right on the mark, and you look at the pressure right up the middle on Colton Doyle's face, unfazed, puts out a perfect ball, hit him in the hands. You could argue he should have maybe had that. Didn't work out, but hey, again, I'm very impressed with this quarterback right
remember,
now.
we only saw him in the first game against a good Saddleback team. Went 3 for 13 before he got hurt. Only had 42 yards, but was a dual-threat quarterback back in high school. Was a 3-year starter. Threw for 5,534 yards for Crescenta Valley High School. So clearly showing it that he can go in here at the college level. As we'll throw here, and that one just behind Calvin Littles, and I think he saw the pressure from Bross Lee and didn't want to throw an interception, so threw it behind where nobody could catch it.
Well, Matt, going back to Colton Doyle, you got to figure he earns the job. He gets out there week 1. He gets knocked out, has to sit out, not only last year, this whole COVID year. You got to imagine he's hungry and raring to go out there. Showing it here tonight.
As we go 3rd and 10 from the 26. Cougars in range for Ty Morrison once again. His long in high school was 41, so they're right about near that number, maybe a little bit inside of it. As Doyle will dump it off. Zool open, cuts across the 20, and he's brought down by Dylan Hall right about the 18-yard line, so it'll bring up 4th down, but you got to like that. Checks down, finds Zool, and Zool able to get up a good chunk of yards.
Yeah, I was going to say, nice little pitch and catch. Zool was just starting to get his burst and then met there by the defender. So stopped a little short. Not shocked me at all, and it does look like they're going to go for it.
On 4th and 2.
I mean, you have the kicker in your back pocket. If nothing else, walk up to the line and see what happens. Yep. But I think they're going for it. Coach Banks is not one to slow down.
There's 2:55, excuse me, to go here in the first half. 8 on the play clock, and they'll go here on 4th and 2. Doyle going to have to run. He's going to tuck it, still looking for blockers, and he might have got the first down marker. They say he got to the 15.
He's going to be really close.
And they moved the chains. I mean, again, we talked about him being a guy that can show the dual threat.
Matt, I like the pass pickup by Cyrus Zool. Allows him to bounce back, take it across, and then just zigzagging right through the mess. Hey, it's a game of inches. He got what it took.
Well, he gave you his high school stats throwing. He ran for 26,000 yards, or 2,600 yards, excuse me, when he was in high school. So 2,684 yards, 41 touchdowns on the ground. So Colton Doyle really flashing both the arm and the legs here early on.
Definitely getting done. Love to see it.
It's 1st and 10 from the 15. Cougars in the red zone once again. Doyle flushed from the pocket but stays on his feet. Will tuck it and run across the 5-yard line and finally knocked down. And they'll give him the 5, and it'll be enough for a first down, and the Cougars will have 1st and goal from inside the 5.
Again, we've talked about through the years, College of the Canyons love to have those versatile dual-threat quarterbacks.
Goes all the way back to
the beginning of when the program was reinstated here in 1998.
I'm blanking on the one that I'm thinking of from my first stint here, and I can't remember, and it's hurting me.
Marcel Marquez.
Thank you. That was who I was looking for.
Yes, sir. That's a name we all know here at College of the Canyons.
And that was the first one that comes to mind, and it's kind of a similar look, in my opinion, from Colton Doyle. Looks very much like Marcel.
Well, and you remember that year Marcel was part of a 2-quarterback committee that rotated in and out. So, typically you have those 2 quarterbacks. Maybe they have slightly different skill sets, and you use them as needed. Colton Doyle so far looks like the whole package.
Yep.
No reason to take him out. I know we have some other quarterbacks on the field, and I know that they're talented as well. But as long as this young man's getting the job done, it's his show.
So, timeout on the field. It looks like the Cougars were given a penalty for delay of game. And we'll take a timeout. It's 23-0 COC here from Cougar Stadium. Welcome back inside Cougar Stadium, 23-0 COC. as Canyons is pretty much dominated here from the jump, Jesse, on both sides of the football.
Yeah, I mean, I think as soon as they made their way down those stairs, met in the end zone, met as a team, they were ready to go, and we've seen that. No letdown, a couple mistakes here and there. That's natural. Any football game, especially week one after a nearly 2-year layoff. But this has been impressive. Now you want to keep this going. You want to close out this first half strong, and you don't want to let anything slip away here in the second half. Still a minute, 27 to go. But Matt, hey, 2 thumbs up for me. I don't know about you.
I can't complain about anything. I mean, first off, it's just great to be back at football. I mean, I didn't sleep last night. I was so excited.
Well,
you know, I have a 1-year-old at home too, so that might be some of the reason why I didn't sleep last night.
That will definitely keep you up. But to your point, not only College of Canyons football, all of our fall sports here back in action. Men's and women's cross country, men's and women's soccer, women's volleyball. College of Canyons football, the last to get on the map here at first competition of the season.
Since you're talking about all the other sports, make sure you watch the Cougar Sports Network, COC Athletics Sports Information YouTube page. And you can catch some volleyball action as Doyle on his feet still, stays on his feet, and he gets into the end zone for a Cougar touchdown.
I mean, the hits just keep coming. Had that ball cocked in his hand the whole time, keeping the run-pass option open. And you're going to see him come across. He's got blockers in front of him. Cyrus Zool out ahead. And then, boom, just right here, makes the decision. Cyrus Zool just gets enough, and he's in the end zone.
A good block upfield by Andre Hunt right at the goal line to make sure that Doyle had enough room to just skip into the end zone untouched.
And I think the other thing you like to see, everyone's on the same page offensively, whether it's blocking assignment for him, whether it's getting down the field, running that route, causing that misdirection, that confusion. Everyone here fighting to get to that goal line.
Well, you had a good block on the replay by Donovan Reyes, the pulling guard in that sense. He got out of field and was able to make a nice play. Point after touch is good. It's 29-0.
Schemed well and executed even better. Great job, Cougars.
So, I mean, pretty much a perfect first half for COC. It's 30-0, sorry, the point after touch. I mean, not much else you can say. You've scored every time down the field. 4 touchdowns, a field goal, and a missed extra point, and you're at 30.
And I think the key now is not to get too overconfident, not to let this lead slip away. You know, you want to kind of continue to limit the mistakes. Go out there and play your ball game. Matt, real quick, I want to give a shout-out to former defensive line coach Eddie McGilvra watching from his home. Coach, glad to see you out there with our viewers. We miss you here, but I know you're doing big things, so just wanted to say hello.
We need your grade on the defensive line right now, because I know you're out on Twitter grading defensive line.
I have a feeling he'll let Coach Ted know come Sunday or Monday.
As this one kicked out of the back of the end zone, 1:19 to go, Antelope Valley will take the football on their own 25-yard line. So a pretty good start, and we'll see the defense one more time, see if they can keep the perfect start going.
Yeah, keep it going. And for AVC, I mean, come on, you want to try and get something going here. I'm sure we'll see parts of their 2-minute offense. They would love to get on the board.
Especially they get the football back, they can go for 2. They can try and go 2 for 1 here. As they need to march 75 yards down the field with a $1:19 to go, as they'll hand off. And it looks like it was Xavier Clay on the handoff, and he swallowed up inside for just a 3-yard gain. DeJour Dixon on the first contact.
Yeah, another one of those big bodies, Antelope Valley High School. Probably the Marauders are surprised to see him down here in Cougar blue and gold.
As they'll throw to the outside. Devon Jones on the catch. Is Hinton able to find him? It's right near the marker, but it's about a yard short, and it'll bring up 3rd down. And yeah, you were talking about Dixon, a guy out of Antelope Valley High School, sophomore, was a transfer from Fordham University, played 6 games in 2019 for them. Expected to make an impact here for COC, coming back as one of those guys that's transferred back into California to try and move himself on. As they'll hand off on the inside, and Clay maybe was able to spin across the first down marker, and it looks like they'll give it to him as they'll move the chains.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I saw big number 51 in there
once again. I mean, he's been everywhere. Brian Snoke's been great so far. I think he's been the one that's made the biggest impact on the defensive side early on. As he lines up on the edge once again here, Hinton will throws to the outside. I'm not sure that was caught. They will give him the catch at right about the 45-yard line.
Looked a little short to
I thought
me.
it bounced.
Of course, we have the benefit of replay, and
It'll be a yard short of the first down marker. And a timeout called by Antelope Valley. Good catch on the haul, and if they do give it to him, I didn't see who it was. It might have been Devon Jones on the outside once again, as that's been one of Hinton's favorite targets here so far early on in the ball game. So 30-0 COC. And we'll see what the defense does. With 27 seconds to go here in the first half. Remember, Antelope Valley will get the ball out of the half. As we're just waiting for everybody to get back out into position. Out of the timeout here. 2 timeouts left for AVC, 1 left for COC. As we'll go back to work, Hinton will throw, swings it to the outside to Jones on the near side. He'll get across midfield, pushed out of bounds. Flag right near the Cougar 45-yard line. Cougars are pointing like it's going to go against Antelope Valley. And I believe that it is an illegal block in the back against Antelope Valley.
I was going to say, it looked like it was away from the play. Didn't quite catch it. Definitely not what the Marauders wanted here. Finally made it to the other side of the field.
And so it's going to move them back. They had the first down. They had plenty of yardage on it. They got all the way to the COC 45, but just an ill-advised block away from the football. And it'll leave them 21 seconds here and push them back behind the chains by a yard. So they've got 2nd and 11 from their own 35-yard line. Hinton will immediately roll out to his left. Looking downfield, will throw downfield and just throws it out of bounds. And he was hit, and a flag in the backfield. And I think they're going to get Cole Bullock for just a little bit too much aggression.
Yeah, just a little too rambunctious back there. Made his way to the quarterback and wanted to let him know he did so.
And that's one of the points of emphasis in the NCAA. I mean, the quarterback gets the ball away in plenty of time. You can't run him down and still push him down. And yeah, roughing the passer, it's a 15-yard penalty, and it's a first down for Antelope Valley.
When do they get it right back? Trading penalties.
Score clock says 0, but
we'll have to see what they ask for, because they're marking the ball, so there's still time left.
Well, it can't end on a defensive penalty. The half can't anyway. But I'm not sure that. So maybe we'll run one more play, it looks like, and the Cougars will take a timeout.
I think just making sure their personnel is out there. You never know what they might try. We had 4 guys deep, but again, want to make sure everyone's on the same page.
And it's smart. You can't take them into the locker room with you, so you might as well use it. And it, like we said, looks like one final play here in this first half, which has been nothing short of perfect for COC.
It's been good. Great start to the season. You know, we weren't really sure. We hadn't seen a lot of these guys. We hadn't seen any action.
Yeah, you and I were asking a lot of questions just between ourselves about what we were going to see.
It's a mystery, and I think it'll be that way across the state as you have kids, some that stuck through the COVID year, some that bounced, whole new crop of high school kids. Some coaches have left, assistants have moved on. I mean, you really don't know. It's typically that way for community college football anyway. You throw in this last year, hey, it's a mystery.
Cougars look like they're in a punt formation. They put 4 guys on the 10-yard line. It's a short pass, plenty of room. The yardage doesn't much matter because they're able to push the guy out of bounds, as it was a big gain for Arius Collins, but that'll end the first half. 30-0 Cougars at halftime. And, I mean, like we said, we talked about it, perfect half. Can't take much more away going to the locker room with a big lead.
Perfect half. Cougars will catch their breath, refocus, and come back out looking to continue. Again, you know, there's no let up in this team. They have the ability to score points, and the defense definitely has the ability to cause some problems for the other team. So biggest thing you want to do is stay focused, stay stay on this track.
We'll take a timeout here. 30-0 COC at halftime. Second half action when we come back here from Cougar Stadium. As COC with a big 30-0 lead over Antelope Valley College.
Our sports medicine program here at College of the Canyons is meant to introduce students who are interested in some type of career in sports medicine. Most of my students are interested in careers as an athletic trainer, physical therapist, or orthopedic surgeon. So when they're done with our program, they will have their Associates of Science. Do you love sports? And do you take satisfaction from seeing someone go from injury all the way back to the sport that they love? Then this is a program you should definitely consider. Our sports medicine program here at College of the Canyons is meant to introduce students who are interested in some type of career in sports medicine. Most of my students are interested in careers as an athletic trainer, physical therapist, or orthopedic surgeon. So when they're done with our program, they will have their Associates of Science. Do you love sports? And do you take satisfaction from seeing someone go from injury all the way back to the sport that they love? Then this is a program you should definitely consider.
Welcome back into College of the Canyon COC with a 30-0 lead at halftime over Antelope Valley College. Pretty perfect first half, Jesse, for the Cougars. 30 points, 16 first downs, 298 yards through the air. I mean, I can't say anything else.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's a matter of where do you start. But for me, it's Colton Doyle. That young man has looked impressive. He's done a great job spreading the ball. All the balls are coming out of his hand with a lot of spin on them. He's picking them apart right now, and we haven't even talked about the legs. He's picked up a couple first downs with his legs.
Rushing right now.
A massive rush around the right end to pick up a big first down. I mean, he's doing it all right now. Got to give credit to the offensive line who's allowing that to happen, and his receivers, as talented as they are, we talked about it already, all over the field. But so far, it's been a great combination.
I mean, Doyle's got 70 yards on the ground. The Cougars have 79 on the ground as an offense. So, I mean, all in all, pretty solid start for COC offensively. And defensively, they've pitched a shutout so far. They've been really good. I mean, you've bent but not broken. You've made a lot of good plays. Got an interception from Javon Camacho. I mean, pretty good start defensively as well.
Yeah, and you know, I think it all starts in the pressure up front. They've got that pressure. They're collapsing the pocket. You do that, the turnovers, the penalties, all the bad things for Antelope Valley start to happen predicated on that pass rush.
Antelope Valley will get the football out of the halftime break, so they will start on the offensive side. And the Cougars, as we said, with a 30-0 lead. And we'll see what they dial up here into that start of the second half. As the kick is short, Ramon Huff will take it at about the 5-yard line. He'll cut it back to the middle of the field. Has a couple of blocks. Will get across the 20. Still on his feet across the 30-yard line. All the way out towards midfield, and a good return for Ramon Huff to start for Antelope Valley College, and they will have great field position here to open up the second half.
Well, that's exactly what they needed. Come out, get a little spark, get some momentum. That's something they were never able to do. A couple big plays aside, a couple penalties that allowed them to continue the drive, but never had anything sustained. If you're College of the Canyons, you want to limit those things, obviously. But a great first return, sometimes that'll be the spark that gets the offense going. It'll be up to the Cougars to respond on the defensive side.
So it looks like the first team defense is going to stay out there, and actually this one going to move back. There was a flag for a block in the back, I believe, so it'll move the ball back to the 42-yard line, but still a really good return for Antelope Valley College to start, and best field position of the day for Caden Hinton. As they'll start with the ball, 14:48 in the third quarter. He'll throw here on first down, and he just threw it too high. Jones had to pick it up as it was on the borderline of a backward pass, and it'll bring up 2nd and 10. Cougars all around in the backfield once again. Micah Hihifu was back there. Looked like Snoke was back there again for the Cougars. As that pressure off the edge from those two have been really, really good today, Jesse.
Absolutely, and like we said, it all starts with that pressure. You get number 5 out there, you get him with some happy feet. He doesn't know where to look. He's got hands in his face. Good things happen predicated on that pass rush.
So Hinton will start in the backfield. He'll take the direct snap, throws, and that one was short, just short-armed. It had pressure, got a couple of guys right in his face. Ikehifu again right there.
Relentless so far. You know, and again, we've seen the substitutions, we've seen the new packages, but for the most part, it's the same names that we're calling that are getting back there time and time again.
It was Cole Bullock on the bull rush as well, as he comes out of that linebacker position right through the middle. And this is that Dan Corbett style with 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers, and 5 D-backs just all over the field, flying around, hitting people, and there's a pass defended on the far side. I think it was, yes, it was. It was Abdul Latif Adu on the defense right there.
Yeah, coming up and making the pass breakup. Like you said, Matt, haven't really gone to him. I'm sure that that's a guy that they have targeted on film. He was a guy for us in 2019. No film this year, but obviously, you know, he stands out, just his size and ability out there. Haven't gone towards him, and when they have, it's, you know, haven't gotten much.
Yeah, in 2019, he had 23 tackles, 2 interceptions, 4 breakups, and a blocked punt as well. So he kind of did it all on all facets of the defensive side. This is a short punt fielded at the 35-yard line. Fair catch made by Trey Elliott, and Cougars will take over there at the 35-yard line.
So if you're Antelope Valley, you start the second half with that big spark. You get the return, you get your offense back out there, the sidelines hooting and hollering. 31 seconds later, College of the Canyon's got the ball back. It's got to be frustrating for the Marauders coaching staff.
And I think that's credit to COC's defense as they came out, they made the plays they needed to make, and they forced pressure on Caden Hinton, and he just couldn't get anything done.
Absolutely, and it's about maintaining that focus coming into the second half. Relentless. Stay after the ball, pretend it's a 0-0 ball game, starting all over, and just continue to pile on from there.
Cougars will start with the first team offense here as Doyle back out there. Two running backs in the backfield with him, and looks like Haynes is one. Actually, it might be Dorian Mitchell now that I look down trying to figure out the numbers. And a timeout called. And so the Cougars, it's actually Damon Banks in the backfield along with Trey Elliott. So a different set for COC, but they're forced to take a timeout, and an early timeout. And I know that won't make Coach Iacenda very happy, but, you know, same thing we did in the first quarter. So
well, and you have that luxury. You're up 30-0. Maybe timeouts aren't going to be as crucial heading back into the game. Like we said, you want to maintain that momentum, limit the mistakes. Mistake here, push back, a penalty, that puts ABC right back in position. You don't want that to happen. But while we're here talking about it, Damon Banks, no relation to Coach Banks, but a 6 foot back out of Van Nuys, Birmingham High School. Another one of those guys that fits that build, that running style. And again, you have those interchangeable pieces like that. It gives the coaches a lot of option.
So an interesting set here with him and Elliott in the backfield next to Doyle here on first down. Doyle will throw. He's got time, will step up. Looks like he's going to tuck it, tries to get the corner and is drug out of bounds. And it was Miles Cooney on the tackle, nearly a horse collar. Now late flag now, and I think that's going to go.
Yeah, I think some jawing or some jiving down there. But again, good job 41. He slung him down, got to the.
And it's going to go against Antelope Valley. It looks by the way the white hat is kind of talking and walking. Yep. And it goes against Dylan Hall on the penalty. So definitely some jawing. He wasn't even in on the play. It was really Miles Cooney that made the tackle, and then afterwards just, I don't know, saying something to somebody.
Yeah, you know, you get excited out there. Your teammate makes a big play. You want to pat him on the helmet, and you want to let the other team know about it. But sometimes it goes a little bit too far. And again, a stifling mistake for Antelope Valley. It's got to be infuriating to this coaching staff.
The Cougars will come back out with a two-back set once again. And it's Samaje Freeman back in the backfield this time with Banks. Banks primarily a blocker on the last play. We'll see if either one of these guys in the backfield gets the football. And they'll pitch it to Banks, tries to get the edge, will put his foot in the ground across midfield, and he gets a good chunk. He gets about 5 yards.
Yeah, like you said, that's a nice job making the decision, getting north-south before it closed in on him. first carry, second carry of the game? First carry. So, again, we just getting a peek at him.
Yeah, his first carry is a collegiate running back here for College of the Canyons. And another foul on Hall. That's his second unsportsmanlike on back-to-back plays, and he's been ejected from the ballgame.
Well, I was going to say that's going to be a loss, and if he hadn't been ejected, he would have certainly got a talking to, I think. But again, I mean, if the Cougars are firing on all cylinders, you certainly don't want to give them free 15-shot pops every other play.
Yeah, you're trailing by 30. You want to try and get back in this football game any way you can. Taking penalties and giving COC 15 yards at a time is not the way to do it.
And again, it puts them in this spot in the field where the whole playbook's open. You're right in striking distance, but you don't have to go for the score.
New quarterback in there for the Cougars this time as it's Bryce Bears in there, and he'll hand it off as it looks like the Cougars trying to get more bodies into the football game. Banks with his second carry in a row. Didn't quite get the edge, maybe lost a yard, so it'll bring up 2nd and 11. So Bears, the freshman quarterback out of Millington High School in Millington, Michigan, was listed as a pro-style quarterback, started 2 years in high school, or 3 years in high school as a varsity player, so getting a run here. And he's a big body, 6'5", 215.
I was going to say, definitely has the pro-style build. 6'5", towering over some of these linemen out there, able to see the field very well. Let's see what he's got.
He's got Banks in the backfield with him. 3 receivers out there as well, an extra blocker in. He'll throw to the outside. Pass is caught by Calvin Littles. He'll cut it back upfield and get across the 30-yard line, a chunk of about 4, bring up 3rd down and 6.
And Calvin Littles, I think, again, one of these guys you like to get open in space. You know, you sling it out to him on the sideline, let him make a move and go from there. Haven't really seen that full burst yet, but you can tell that they want to get the ball in his hands.
Well, I think that's why you see Gilmore Littles out here with Bears, the second-string quarterback right now, because Doyle has certainly solidified himself as the number 1. But getting reps with the first team as he'll throw here on 3rd down, stays in the pocket, and he's going to get wrapped up and taken down. Sack going to be credited to Jalen Harvey, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, and I think when he looks back at this on Monday or Tuesday, he's going to say he probably held on to the ball a little bit too long. You know, waiting for his play to develop, and you see number 2 streaking down the field. If he would have just had a second, but that's okay. You know, he's just getting in there, getting a feel for it. Before we were lauding the exploits of Colton Doyle, he had a few plays the first drive or two, and he, you know, just getting comfortable. So that's natural. Nothing to be concerned about.
Gonna give Ty Morrison a chance here, all the way back from the 43-yard line. So he's got to make 53 yards to kick it in. We'll see if the young man has the leg. This would be well outside his high school long.
We joke this is almost automatic for Tanner Brown.
And yeah, he's going to be short by about 10 yards, 5 yards, we'll say. Kicked it about 45.
You know, looking at how that came off his foot, I just don't think he hit it right.
Yep.
Obviously, he has that distance, or else the coaches wouldn't have brought him out there. So, again, you give him a shot. You see what he's got. Get one under his belt. Regroup. The way this defense is playing, you're not really worried about the field position.
Yeah. Well, and you have that luxury up 30-0. You're early in the 3rd quarter. I mean, might as well. You got to see what you got. You got to see if you can even do that, or if you're going to punt next time.
Bring out all the toys and see what's the most fun.
You know, first game back in 22 months. So 1st down here for Antelope Valley. They'll throw, and ooh, that was a dangerous pass, nearly picked off, just out of the reach. It looked like Matt Ballantyne coming down the near sideline.
Ballantyne and Camacho, Hovind Camacho also out there. That would have been his 2nd of the night. But again.
And those are guys that returned from the 2019 roster that didn't get lots of run back in 2019, but you expect them to continue that tradition of depth at the defensive back position.
Didn't get a lot of run, but I know for certain that there were players that the coaches were excited about. Sometimes it just doesn't work out with the depth and the talent you have around.
Oh, is that one deflected, and in the backfield was Ika Hihifu once again. That's 4th, 5th time we've called his name.
And I want to say the 2nd that he nearly took one out of the air and into the end zone. I wouldn't try that a 3rd time. That young man will make you pay for it.
I'm very impressed by his athleticism, Jesse, a guy that, like we said, he was a tight end. He was an offensive player. And he's come in and he's slotted into the number 1 defense and just looks like he's never been anywhere else.
You know, Matt, athletes are athletes.
That's
They're going to transition, but it's interesting to see how they change that mentality.
As that one knocked away.
I started to say how their mentality shifts from an offense to defense player. You may have the speed, you may have the burst, the strength, but it's one thing. It's one thing to have those attributes, and another thing to put them in action.
So it'll bring up 4th down. So the Cougars the defense does what the defense does, comes in, gets stops, doesn't break, forces another punt here. Is this one a good punt, end over end? Littles will let it bounce out of bounds at about the 25-yard line, and that's where the Cougars will take over.
And here we are, Matt. Just a few minutes ticked off the clock. Not much time going. You're going to give the ball right back.
Yeah, just like you talked about it's not eating any clock, throwing the football all over the place, and the Cougars have had that scouted. And, if you're COC, you like this because you get to see more guys on the offensive side, right?
Absolutely. Anytime you have the ball in your hands, it's a good thing. I mean, and like you said, having been laid off for so long, not knowing exactly what you have, but having a ton of guys at the same time, it affords you that opportunity. We've already seen some interesting different sets, different offensive packages out there. Now we're out wide again.
As Bears will be in the backfield as the quarterback. He'll hand off to Samaje Freeman, who can't quite get the edge. As Antelope Valley able to get back there and get to him. Xavier Tatham was one of the guys that forced him outside. I think Kajante Figures was the first one in on the tackle.
And again, Matt, we talked about you never going to want to take your foot off the gas. That's certainly not the philosophy here of this coaching staff. But maybe this is the point in the game where you do slow things down. You get those running backs involved. We talked about the trio or quad.
It's a 5-man running back.
So I was going to say 4 or 5 running backs that you want to all see what they can do, give them the opportunity.
Quintet? Is that 5? Quintet? As Bears will throw to the outside, pass caught on the near side by Zion Slade, and he's able to get up to the 31-yard line, and it'll bring up 3rd down, and we'll say 4.
Well, Matt, if you want to talk wordplay, we could call them the Cougar Quints for 5 of them. I don't know if
fine by me. I'll have to remember that the next time we want to talk running backs and throw up a full screen, some highlights, the Cougar Quints. I'm going to write it down.
But definitely got some dudes out there, that's for sure.
As we wait here on a 3rd and 4 play. As the Cougars looking good, as Beers will throw to the outside once again, and TQ Gilmore on the catch. Will get out of bounds, and enough for a Cougar first down.
Knew where the sticks were, set up right there. He saw his feet get a little active trying to get that yak. Just wasn't there, but hey, moves the chains. Gets a completion for Beers. That's one under his belt now. Let's settle things down. There's no real sense of urgency because you are up 30-0 and you're well in control of this game. So again, let's see what we got. Let's open up the playbook a little bit.
Bears in the backfield once again on another first down. He'll have Freeman to his left. Cougars all time against Antelope Valley 14-4. We didn't talk about that pregame. We didn't get a chance to. But they've won 10 straight, and right now are looking pretty good to go further as Bears will run. There's a flag in the backfield in the area of a hold, so this one will get negated and move back.
Yeah, Matt, you talk about that all-time series. Canyons has not lost to Antelope Valley since 1998. You'll recall that's the first season the Cougars brought back their football program. Not to say there haven't been some close battles in between there. Looking back at those box scores, some of them certainly before my time, a couple overtime contests, a couple close home and away when it was an annual every year matchup. Fast forward to now, Cougars haven't played Antelope Valley since 2017. Yep. Getting back in it now, kind of reigniting that geographic rivalry.
It's a big brother, little brother scenario. COC kind of always been the big brother to Antelope Valley, who's been in the American division of the SCFA for a long time. And, you know, big brother, little brother battles are always generally pretty good. We had a lot of them in my house. I lost a lot of them as the big brother. It's all good. As that one thrown downfield and a good throw, a better catch by Zion Slade. And Bears gets us another first down into the hands of Slade.
Slade, another out-of-state kid out of Mamuel, Arkansas. And this was a young man I had an opportunity to talk to, was very excited to be here, very excited to get back out on the field, and happy to see him get a stat.
So far, we got to like what you've seen from Bryce Bears, able to throw the football well along the outside, finding guys all over the field here early on in just his second drive in college. And the Cougars with a first down from the Antelope Valley side of the field on the 43-yard line as Bears will dump it off, this time to Gilmore, steps around one, still on his feet, across the 30, inside the 20, to the 10, and he will get into the end zone for a Cougar touchdown. There are no flags on the field.
Oh, this kid's burning it up here tonight. First game of his sophomore year. Now we're going to see it here. We talked about he was wanting to get that yak with those happy feet after he caught the ball. This time he's actually going to fulfill this. You see the lineman get out in front, little jailbreak screen. Whew. Just gets past that one, sees his blockers, and then boom, watch the burst right there. No one's going to catch him after that. Almost does, but he's in the end zone after that. Maybe I spoke a little too soon. You see his teammates down there fanning him off. He's hot right now. You are sizzling, TQ. Keep it up.
36-0 Cougars. Extra point is good. Make it 37 for Gilmore. His third touchdown catch of the evening, and now he's up over 155 yards on the day. And the Cougars kind of pick up right where they left off. Had a slow first drive in the second half, but Bryce Bears getting his feet under him, throws his first collegiate touchdown. I mean, you're getting it from everywhere right now.
The talent is definitely there. I mean, we knew when we talked about it, we said, there's a couple backups out there, and it'd be interesting to see if they got a chance to play. I think with this healthy lead, full control of the game, get your guys out there. I mean, TQ's out there making plays, so you just need someone to get him the ball. And so far, so good.
I mean, at some point we would expect to see Quentin Stamps potentially in there at the quarterback position. Obviously, we've seen all 5 running backs. The receiving core is deep as ever, too. So we've already seen Zion Slade catch a couple of balls. There's a few other guys out there, Tavius Jenkins, Joshua Littleberry, Trevor Gertz, just to name a few that we haven't seen yet. So at some point, I would imagine all of them get a run. As you've got a 36-0 lead, as this one fielded right at the 1-yard line by Huff. He will run up the middle. It gets hit at the 20 by a plethora of Cougars in there on the first hit. It looked like, I want to say it was Max Begley on the first hit.
Yeah, I think you're right. Max Begley, Valencia High School, coming in, making the special teams play. Again, another way to make your mark. If you're not getting regular snaps on the defense or offensive side of the ball, come in and make your impact felt on special teams.
And you say Valencia High School, and that's one of the things I don't think a lot of people that watch Cougar football realize. I mean, back when the program first got reinstated back into the national championship, had a lot of players from outside the area, but a lot of players from inside the area as well. And as we've gone on through the years, more and more guys from Valencia, Hart, Canyon, Saugus, Golden Valley, Valencia, now Castaic in there as well, all showing up. West Ranch as well, another one, and making an impact. We've seen it a few times. Jovan Camacho, a guy from West Ranch. You know, it's nice to see the local kids get a run and get going and playing well.
Absolutely. I mean, the mission of community colleges is open access to everybody, to give them those educational opportunities. But it's especially exciting when you see these young local kids. We have tremendous football programs out here. So if we can keep them here for an extra 2 years and get to see them play at home, that's awesome.
Hinton will throw to the outside. There's Devon Jones drugged down along the outside by, I believe, Julian Salazar in coverage, and now 2 flags out. And
yeah, I think there's some
that might be dual unsportsmanlike conduct.
I think there's some jawing going back and forth. You see the points, but like you said, to your point, before the flags, great coverage by Salazar, was right there to make the play, limit that yardage.
Another local kid, Hart High School.
Another local kid.
So it just goes against Salazar here.
And again, that's going to be one of those things you talk about. You see Salazar trying to explain himself to Coach I. It's about keeping your composure. Things like that, penalties like that, trying to get in the last word, it doesn't help. It doesn't help your team. You guys are already in control. Play with some poise. Play with the confidence that you've shown all night, and let's continue to get the job done.
So we'll go 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line of the Marauders here. Is Hinton still in there in the backfield? Will step up in the pocket, wants to throw over the middle, has a man, pass is caught. And it was Jalen O'Neill on the catch out of the backfield. And it's good enough for another Marauder first down here.
So the penalty and then the first down. Now they've moved across field here. Again, College of the Canyons, buckle up.
I think maybe only the second time today that ABC's been across midfield.
Unfamiliar territory.
As they hand off to Clay, and he's met in the backfield but was able to push forward. It was Dale Silas with the initial hit, it looked like. Was it 32 or 33? It might have been Vredenberg.
I was going to say, I think it's Vredenberg out there. Again, another.
I couldn't pick up the number.
A Hart High School product out there.
ABC going fast this time. Clay hit in the backfield initially by Jonathan Thomas and brought down 4 yards short. So it'll bring up 3rd and 4.
You know, picking up the pace, like you said, a crucial drive here for ABC just to kind of stop the bleeding, get on the board, capture back some of that momentum if you can. I think it's imperative that the Marauders try and get in the end zone here, if for nothing else, to make this a great second half.
First time we've seen Thomas really get a good hit in the middle. It's Clay again, and then he's hit by 4 Cougars. He's got enough for the first down, gets to the 30-yard line, but it was Bullock in there to make a hit. It looked like it was Reggie Jones may have gotten a piece of him.
Yeah,
Hunter Pounds got a piece of him. There's 4 or 5 guys.
A lot of guys out there. You know, first down, good run. You'd still like to see the Cougars swarm into the ball, though.
So it'll be 1st and 10. Ball spotted at the 29-yard line. Good drive here for Antelope Valley, as Hinton has done a nice job to find the men that are open. He throws this side on the outside. Thomas able to bring down Carlos Hill. He's only able to get 3 yards, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
Thomas, I think maybe 2 or 3 tackles tonight, but I must say, every time we've called his name, it's been a forceful tackle.
Nothing soft.
He brings it when he makes contact, and I'm sure those guys are feeling it on the other end of the ball.
So we'll go 2nd and 7, Cougar 26. Clay still in there in the backfield. Hinton to throw, wants to throw downfield, has a man caught, and this will go for a touchdown. Carlos Hill over the middle, was able to get around his man, and I think he just beat Matt Ballantyne off the edge. Antelope Valley on the board for the first time today.
I think you're right. Ballantyne just a step behind. You're going to see him come across. He just kind of lost him there. Safety was slow to get over. Hey, that's going to happen. ABC's got some talent out there. They've finally put together a sustained drive. They got in the end zone. And they're on the board.
I mean, you'd like to pitch a goose egg on the board anytime you can, but your first points against are 5:01 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah.
I mean.
And again, silver lining. Oh, here's another
late flag, yep.
And again, some more jawing. Yep. You see them pulling each other off.
There's Reggie Jones, I think, going to get bumped with this one. And it should go after the PAT. The kick was good. And now they're going to talk about it here. They may re-kick. They may add tack on.
Coach I out on the field waiting to see what happens. Okay, so they got the Cougars on one. Now they got the Marauders on one.
It actually went against Dijon Green.
But, Matt, I started to say, you know, Antelope Valley gets the touchdown, maybe a little breakdown in the secondary. Silver lining, that gives you something to look at in film, gives you something to clean up, work on for next week. I mean, it's hard. You pitch a shutout and everyone's feeling high and mighty and they come into film. There's not a lot they want to hear, not a lot really you can show them. Plays like that will allow that learning process to continue as we head into week 2.
And it doesn't get easier as the season goes on for the Cougars. Southwestern next week, which should be a game that COC should handle. But the week after that, you talk about Fullerton on the road at Fullerton. That's a tough test. Fullerton, a top 10 team this year.
Yeah, and, you know, backing up to Southwestern, that's a long road trip for the Cougars. That's, you know, something none of these young men have done in the last year and a half. So you feel good about this. I mean, a long way to go, but you feel like you're in control. You're absolutely right. The season does not get any easier. A lot of top dogs out there. It's going to be a lot of fierce competition for the Cougars.
Well, it's a new division this year as well. You get Ventura, you get East Los Angeles, you get Allen Hancock, and you get Bakersfield, all part of your conference this year, or your division in the SCFA. I think it's divisions we go by, right? As well as Long Beach, which is a standard battle, is a good return back up towards the 40-yard line on a short click and a late flag. Out of conference, you get Riverside, you get Palomar, you get Fullerton. I mean, those are all good programs.
Well, when we talk about Ventura and Long Beach in particular, you know, tri-champions with the Cougars in 2019. Always tough. Ventura, definitely a rivalry. Long Beach, a little bit newer to our conference, but we have already had some epic battles with them. There's no slouches. SCFA football week to week, you know, the parity that you see year in and year out, team to team. I hate to sound cliche. Any given Sunday, any given Saturday, you know.
Well, and it's true, and it's something that the 3C2A doesn't get credit for, the SCFA doesn't get credit for. They're not looked at as a powerhouse in terms of college football at the JUCO level, but really, I'd put all these JUCOs up against any JUCO in the country and see what happens. You know, we've talked about Netflix and Last Chance U before, and you see all those teams and they get all the run, but the California schools don't get enough credit for what the talent they have and the ability they have to play football. As a run up the middle by, it was Banks this time, and he's able to pick up 3 yards. And I believe a new quarterback in there as well. And I believe it's Tuni Aikihifu. Let me do it again. Aikahihifu in there to play quarterback. I'm going to get it right. It's just a lot. Is Akili Andrews on the catch, and he's able to force him ahead.
And Matt, along with that, like you said, some new receivers. Akil Andrews out there. Play before Hunter Smith getting lined up on the outside. So Cougars be able to flex a little bit, able to get everybody in there. I know they're excited to put in a lot of work these last 2 years, a lot of patience, a lot of mental endurance just to get to this point. So it's nice to see them be rewarded like that.
It's good to see Tooney get a run here at the quarterback position after Bears did a good job. As Aikahifu will throw, pass is caught, cutting through the middle across midfield. Good yardage there for the Cougars. And it was Zion Slade once again, who's shown some skills so far here. We've seen a burst of speed through him from a few different passes.
Again, a lot of these young guys new to the program trying to break through the ceiling, get their time, get some snaps, make the name for themselves.
So we go here on 1st and 10. Cougars continue to move the chains. Tooney will keep it this time, wants to throw downfield, looks over the middle, and it just goes through the hands of Joshua Littleberry. He had him open, had a step on the defender, just couldn't haul it in.
Yeah, had him right there. Again, you know, protection broke down a little bit, was able to still get that ball off. That's a nice read and a throw, just didn't come together like they wanted.
It's good to see this young man, another guy from Paraclete High School, won a couple of state championships for Dean Harrington, getting a run out here. We weren't sure if he was going to get, it's just deep at quarterback this year. There's 6 guys deep for the Cougars. But Tooney getting a chance to go. And he'll throw here on 2nd down, and that one just too high, intended for Akili Andrews again.
But again, a nice sling on the ball. His power's coming out. I mean, you know, it's coming out of there with some force. He's finding his guys, maybe not hitting all of his marks.
But this is what he did in high school. I mean, I've seen tape on him from Paraclete, and he was a guy that threw the ball. He could run as well. He was a very stout quarterback, listed as a sophomore. So, this will be his one and only year here at College of the Canyons. But getting some tape, getting some time as he'll dump it off on a screen pass. And again, it's Banks, and he's able to get a big chunk, cuts it back up the middle, and he's popped hard, and a late flag coming in.
I think that might have been a helmet-to-helmet.
Yeah, it's going to be Raymond Womack going to get called for it.
He was we're going to see here, looks like he got just right up under him.
Good blocking up front by the Cougars. Oh. Yeah, I mean, shoulder to chest.
Yeah, I don't know that it was the helmet-to-helmet, but I think when you see that upward motion on the takedown, the refs are going to...
You're absolutely right. I mean, speaking a different sport, but I used to referee hockey, and it's the same concept. You see that rise, that change in levels, and it's a jarring to your eye as an official. So I think you're absolutely right. They see that change in levels from Womack, and if they had the benefit of replay, they would see not targeting, shoulder to chest, we move on.
And they are talking about it a little bit. Yeah.
And they talked about it and figured it out. And I think that's the right call.
Yeah. So of course, if you're the Cougars, you'll take it. But, hey, it's the right call. And you'd like to see, again, for them, week 1, being able to come together, make that call, and get it right. It shows it's important to them, and they're out there to do the right thing.
And that targeting situation has been a point of emphasis for the last number of years. As Ike Hifu to the outside this time, caught by Andrews and gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. So Andrews getting a good run here. Keels with a couple of catches so far here in the third quarter. 2:45 to go. It's a 30-point lead for COC, 37-7. As Banks will stay in the backfield here. 4 wide for the Cougars, just a 5-man line for COC. Tooney will hand off this time. Good movement through the offensive line. Banks finds a hole, and the big body's up front doing a great job. Good blocking by Stephen Eakins, one of the guys in there.
Yeah, have really worked well together as a unit. The pass pro has been there. The run game a little slow to develop, but now they're gashing them, getting big chunks. Again, that's the coaching of Coach Mark Dumlau. Always has a great unit. Very talented, hardworking, just blue-collar guys out there. Go out and get the job done.
As we'll go here on 3rd and 1. Hifu will throw, and it's that little screen pass again to Andrews, and he's got room to move in across the 10 and gets knocked down at the 5.
Oh, he's disappointed about that. Had 2 guys in front of him. Had the caravan leading the way in front of him. Just tripped up a little bit short. Brings up a big 3rd and 1. You got to figure the Cougars have something for this type of play.
And you got to like it. I like that we've seen all different facets so far here from COC, Jesse. We've seen the deep ball. We've seen the screen plays now working. Only thing we're missing is Danny Valenzuela, the center, just hucks his knee pad across the field. Obviously was not helping him. They'll hand off to Samaje Freeman. He tries to get to the line, and he's stopped about a half a yard short. Second carry of the day for Samaje Freeman. We'll see if he gets a chance to finish off his work and punch it in.
Going back to that last play of the knee brace, don't know that I've seen that here at College of the Canyons. I don't even know how you get that thing off with those pants and everything else that they got going on.
I think the more important credit is Sarah Ursum out there to get it off the field as fast as she did, the athletic trainer for COC.
Good eye, Sarah.
There's a bad snap, and Tooney will pick it up, and I think he'll just end up going down way back at the 20-yard line.
Yeah.
So bad snap. It was 2nd and 1.
Tooney tried to scoop it up. It bounced right into his hands. He tried to still make something out of it. Probably a little better advised to just
that wasn't even close.
Go ahead and fall on that.
Head.
But you got to appreciate the effort.
A ladder to get to that one.
You got to like the effort and the mindset there to try and make something out of nothing.
So it'll bring 3rd and goal from the 18-yard line for the Cougars here. And they'll take their time, and I would imagine they'll let the play clock or the game clock tick all the way down and take it into the 4th quarter with a 30-point lead. 37-7 Cougars. We'll take a timeout here on the Cougar Sports Network. COC with the 30-point advantage. 37-7 Cougars over Antelope Valley here in the 4th quarter now as we get ready to go from Cougar Stadium. Opening game of the 2021 SCFA season, and so far so good, Jesse.
Matt, I don't know about you. I'm having a ball up here.
It's great. It's so great to be back. I mean, I didn't even, like I said, I didn't sleep a lot last night. Most of it was excitement, and this is just, I can't.
I mean, across the board in my role here at College of the Canyons, I have had a fantastic last 2 weeks seeing all of our student athletes get back on the field, back on the court, back on the course, just back in action. The smiles, the excitement, it's infectious. I see myself coming down to practice, and I'm getting hyped. I'm going home excited. So I can only imagine how they're feeling, especially after this long hiatus.
I can say my new chances to call games here, doing some volleyball the last couple of weeks, it's been great to just be back on campus and get a chance to, as you said, see the kids go out and play, and that's what really it's all about. Is Ika Hihifu in the backfield going to be sacked way back near the 30-yard line, and maybe that's a time where we think we might want to get rid of that one.
Yeah, again, maybe a little bit of coverage sack. The pressure was certainly there, but you can tell he got the happy feet. He's huddling, shuffling back and forth. Get rid of that ball. Get rid of that ball. And again, that's something they'll address in films. Week one, not that many snaps. Again, the hiatus, that's natural. But I like the mentality of trying to make the play, trying to make something happen. We talked about it again. I keep repeating myself. They are so excited to be out there. Everyone wants their name in the stat book. Everyone wants a piece of this victory. So you can't fault him too bad.
42-yarder here for Morrison, and he's got plenty of legs. So that one he looked like he got clean. And they say it was no good. I thought he got it. Well, that's my fault for assuming. First game of the year.
Again, like you said, they'll kick that one a little bit cleaner. The distance was there. From our angle, it was tough to see. It looked good to me. Obviously wasn't, but going in off his foot. Yeah, I'm not going to question the officials because they're the ones underneath the goalpost. They can tell better than I can from here. I'm out here with binoculars trying to pick up numbers. It's not working very well at times, but it's okay. But again, chance to give your guy a chance to go, especially something we didn't get a chance to talk about, and we kind of briefed on it a little bit, but you lose Tanner Brown, who was just incredible. He knocked in everything. Yeah. The Cougars had that luxury for those 2 years that Tanner was here that it was nearly automatic. I don't think he missed a PAT his entire freshman year. Maybe a handful of field goals his entire career here. So, again, you got to see what you got.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at the numbers, but I think you're right. It might have been a handful.
I might be a little off, but it was not a high mark. So, again, see what you got out there. Give that young man an opportunity.
New quarterback in the game for Antelope Valley as they go with Bryson Blankenship. So, Marauders trying to get something else going as Blankenship will throw here downfield. And it's broken up. Good job on the defense that time by Joshua Christopher to just punch it out.
And you're for Antelope Valley at this point, too. I think you want to get all your guys in the game. We talked about it. They had the luxury. They played a couple games in the spring. But still, I imagine some changeovers, some new guys in and out. See what you got. Canyon's probably going to be one of your toughest opponents of the season. If your guys can flash or shine against Canyons, you might have something building going forward.
He'll throw to the outside this time, does Blankenship, and that one caught by Carlos Hill. Good enough for a first down. Yeah, next week they've got Victor Valley on the schedule, so, you said you start on a tough team, number 9 team in the state. Absolutely just trying to build going into the remainder of the season. As we'll go here on 1st and 10 from the Marauders' 38-yard line as Blankenship will stand in the backfield, takes the direct snap, will throw quickly, and I think that was a miscommunication on the route that needed to be run by Carlos Hill because he was running downfield and the ball was 5 feet behind him.
Still a lot of clock for the Marauders. Like you said, if they can get a couple touchdowns, they've got something to build on heading into next week.
There's Blankenship to the outside that time. And it's Jalen O'Neill, who is listed as a running back, but I think has switched over to kind of a receiver role. And really was a running back last year during the 2020 season. Was kind of a split guy, played running back, played receiver. Was mostly ground game guy, but he gets another catch here. Picks up a couple of yards. That'll bring up 3rd and about 5, maybe 6, we'll say. As it's Blankenship again to throw, this time caught on the outside. In coverage for the Cougars was Dre Falls.
Dre Falls coming out of Honolulu, Hawaii, was right there in coverage. Quarterback just did a great job of putting it right where he wasn't. able to get that first down and move the chains.
And it was Arius Collins on the outside. We've called his name a lot today for Antelope Valley. He's made a pretty good impact for the Marauders as they continue to try and march down the field here with 11:55 to go in the fourth quarter. Throw over the middle. Out in front, unable to dive and make a play.
Definitely had his man though, and you see AVC starting to get some comfort, starting to sustain things a little bit. You know, again, when you're American Division playing up, a team like College of the Canyons, as talented as they are, it's going to take a while to figure things out. Unfortunately for AVC, maybe too little too late. They just found themselves in too big of a hole now to come back against a team like College of the Canyons. But if you're that coaching staff, you like to see the positives here, especially this late in the game.
They'll run here on a second down, and not much anywhere to go for anybody. I think it was J.Q. Ladson in there on the initial pop.
J.Q. Ladson, now that is a big young man. 6'4", 370, Canoga Park. Definitely one of those dudes that can clog up the middle. If he shows any sort of a first step towards the quarterback, he could have a major impact this season. Big old body out there.
As I believe a timeout on the field called by AVC. So with that, we'll take a timeout as well. 37-7 Cougars here from the Cougar Stadium.
Our sports medicine program here at College of the Canyons is meant to introduce students who are interested in some type of career in sports medicine. Most of my students are interested in careers as an athletic trainer, physical therapist, or orthopedic surgeon. So when they're done with our program, they will have their Associates of Science. Do you love sports? And do you take satisfaction from seeing someone go from injury all the way back to the sport that they love? Then this is a program you should definitely consider.
Back into the Cougar Sports Network. 3rd and 11 coming out for Antelope Valley College. As the Cougars with a 37-7 lead. Cougar football here on the Cougar Sports Network. COC Athletics Sports Information page, SoCal College Sports YouTube, and later on tape delay on scvtv.com. So we want to thank all of our broadcast partners. And it's just the first of 5 this year for us here at Cougar Stadium.
Pumped. We talked about it already. Get one under our belt. Cougars got one under the belt. We got one under our belt. Our production crew, our stat crew, our clock, our PA, everybody here excited to be back. It's a production week in and week out, but we're happy to be here, excited to be here.
Yeah,
I mean, does it get any better than Saturday night under the lights in beautiful SCV, Santa Clarita, California?
And our guys all doing a good job. Aldo Canepa, our director today, is that one picked off. And going back the other way is Dre Falls, and he's going to go into the end zone untouched. Pick 6, Cougar touchdown.
Aloha Dre Falls takes it all the way back, making his mark on this game. Man, you're going to see the replay right here. In coverage just a few plays ago was right there. Quarterback probably saw something, thought he was going to slip it in again. Nope, jumps the route and just takes it all the way back. Nice little bobble, hand control. I bet you he played a little receiver somewhere along the way. Defensive back now, all the way to the end zone. Go Cougs. And you see the celebration on the sideline. That young man is hyped, and reasonably so. That's an awesome job.
So the defense making an impact again for the Cougars. Pick 6 this time for Dre Falls. And like you said, the little bobble there was.
And there's the turnover chain. First appearance of the season. Oh, man.
I knew you were waiting for it.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. I saw it in the case this week. I knew they were having it ready. And there's the first appearance. That's a photo-worthy moment for that young man. I'm sure we'll see that on Instagram and Twitter later. If you're not already, follow College of the Canyons at COCFB. And I'm sure you will have an opportunity to see that.
Extra point is good. Back to a 37-point advantage. 44-7 Cougars. as we get a second, we do want to thank our production crew, Aldo Canepa, our director, Antonio Curiel, our AD today, Mike Nahar, our camera operator, all doing a great job here on the SoCal College Sports Cougar Sports Network broadcast. So we want to thank you guys, and obviously thank all you fans for showing up and watching. We really appreciate that. And you've seen a good one for COC.
Absolutely. Appreciate all the fans, all the viewership from across the state, the country, and let's face it, the globe, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. I think we should be international this year there, Jesse.
Love
we already
it.
know we were big in West Palm Beach last year.
Definitely had some fans,
My
some of
wife
our favorites out there.
She still laughs about it because she had to come up and take a photo, which I loved it.
Hey, I loved it too. And like I said, we already shouted out Coach O from Delaware, so we've got some East Coast viewership
Coach
as
McGovern
well. So we're all over the place. We're taking this worldwide, and again, appreciate you guys tuning in.
So another big play for the Cougars, and I mean, again, the defense just the COC had a good defense in 2019, absolutely. But so far here today, now granted, it is an AVC team that's trying to find their footing a little bit against a tougher division opponent, but those are the types of games you need to see out of your defense against an opponent that you should control, and COC has certainly done that.
Absolutely, and what I like especially is the big plays, those momentum shifting or enduring plays. I mean, hard to call that last one a momentum shifter. We already had the momentum, this game kind of in hand. But still, you talk about the interception from Camacho, a couple of the sacks, the QB pressure, just really blowing up and halting these Marauder drives. I mean, you can't ask for anything more than that. You keep the ball back in your offense's hands. We've seen what they can do. I mean, hey, A+ mark for me from the Cougars.
And they stay out on the field, does the defense after the pick 6. And I believe the Marauders will come with a new quarterback as well after the interception thrown by Blankenship. And it should be Emery Floyd in there now in the backfield to run the offense for Antelope Valley, as he will give on the handoff inside. This is a run for Michael Clark, and he's able to get across midfield. A good chunk for Michael Clark, able to find a nice little hole.
And I think that was Jeremiah Coxon on the stop.
I believe so. They said Jeremiah Cox. Number 43 for the Cougars this year. And AVC looks like they're going to try and go a little fast here. Cougars not quite ready to go. As a miss handoff, and that ball recovered by COC, pulled out of the pile by Reggie Jones.
That's another one of those big plays. Had it been a tighter game, that's the momentum shifter we're talking about. Reggie Jones making his mark out of Chatsworth. Sierra Canyon, another big body, 6'2", 271. I'm going to have to ask Coach Dan Corbett, what's it like? What's the luxury like having all these dudes that you can just rotate in and out and they all make plays? That's the most amazing part of it. It's not like you're just getting guys in, getting them reps. They're in there, they're shining, they're making plays, they're making a mark. Love it.
A nose for the ball, too. It's just a muffed snap handoff, and Jones sees it and pounces right on it. He jumped up. He thought he was in the NFL. He was going to run it back for a touchdown.
Now, we talked about fantasy football earlier. What's the point total on Coach Corbett's defense from tonight?
Well, pick 6, so that's 6. 2 interceptions, so that's, 3 points each, so 6 more points there. Fumble recovery, something like that, 3 points. You got to talk about 9 points under 10, so you're talking about another 6 or 7 there?
Looking strong. I know that's fantasy versus real world, but again, you like what you see out of this unit, both sides of the ball.
So the Cougars and come out and a big run right off the hop for COC, as it was Kalinga Magunda able to run it ahead out of Quebec, Montreal, Canada, and he'll go again, and he just pounds his way up all the way to the 25-yard line.
And this, for an offensive line, for a running back stable, fourth quarter, you impose your will, you move the ball as you want to. That is the goal, and they're executing that right now.
Well, we saw it in 2019 a lot, and it was with different backs in the backfield. Caden Dunn, who is now actually on the sideline for the Cougars, helping out as an offensive assistant. And, maybe some of his fingerprints on these running backs saying, look, this is our time, let's go. as they'll run it again. And again, Mugunda able to spin off some pressure, and he gets a Cougar first down to the 20-yard line.
And I think, Matt, what sticks out the most to me, yes, you've had some new bodies. You've had some different guys rotate in. But to a man, does anyone on COC look tired?
Nope.
Or faded or,
No,
here we are midway through the fourth quarter.
And to me, it really comes back to the offensive line. This is the same group of 5 we've seen all day.
About to say that. They've been out there all day. Coach Isinda is fond of saying, no one works harder than us. No, we're not going to get tired. We're not going to be the team that's going to be tired and collapse in the fourth quarter, and you're seeing that right here.
Quentin Stamps getting his first run of the day at quarterback in the red zone for the Cougars. He'll hand off to Mugunda, who will just pound his way up the middle, and he's able to fight his way for 4 yards. Cyrus Sewell in 2019 was the closer. That's what we kind of nicknamed him. He was the guy that came in late in the game, punished the defense, pounded. You might have that now in Mugunda here.
Yeah, definitely. Waited, held him back into the fourth quarter, waited for his opportunity, and now what's that, 3-4 straight runs? I mean, why not? You're pounding it, you're moving it, you're finding success every time. Stick with the hot hand.
So we'll stay in the backfield with Stamps here. He's got 4 wide this time at the Marauders 16-yard line, and he'll throw, spins, little misdirection, pass caught by Andrews, and he's clipped up, but gets to the 10-yard line, and again, that's the second time today Andrews has had a touchdown taken away.
Oh, you can tell he wants to get in there. Got a nose for the end zone, eyes locked on that goal line. I have a feeling if it doesn't come tonight, it's going to come sooner rather than later. But heck, let's get one tonight.
So it'll be first and goal for the Cougars from the 10-yard line. Stamps will hand it off. Mugunda bounces to the outside, gets hit, stays on his feet, still fighting. And he got maybe 3 yards, but 3 difficult yards. And then some bodies on the far side. Ramon Huff for Antelope Valley. And it looked like, I want to say, for COC, Jaquez Jackson were kind of tied up and fighting. Or probably not fighting, I'd say, pushing and shoving.
Nice little juke there, inspired some ooze from the box, but a good job of the Marauder defender just sticking right with him and able to make that play.
So we'll go here on 2nd down and 7. And they'll fake the handoff, and Stamps will keep it, and he gets inside the 5. Taken down, was rolled right about to the 4-yard line. And I'll bring up 3rd and goal from the 4.
Matt, they're all sniffing that end zone. They all want it.
It's just a question of whose number is going to get called, I think, here. As Mugunda stays in the backfield, 4 wide for the Cougars. As Stamps will wait. Will keep it. Wants to get the edge. Stiff arm, but then too many white jerseys around him. As Xavier Tatham is there to bring him down. And I think when they look at the tape on that one, they might say, Quentin, you got to hand that football off.
Regardless, you appreciate the strength with the forearm, getting past the first guy, like you said, just kind of collapsed on him.
So Cougars will kick a field goal here. So lots of work for Ty Morrison. A chance for him to just get his legs under him.
Get some confidence, get a couple through the uprights, get your name in the book, and continue to build for week 2 and beyond.
Tooney the holder. It'll be from the 13-yard line, so a 23-yarder, and it's good. And so you add 3 more, 47-7, a 40-point lead for COC. 5:54 to go here in the 4th. We'll take a timeout here from Cougar Stadium. Cougars with a big lead.
Our sports medicine program here at College of the Canyons is meant to introduce students who are interested in some type of career in sports medicine. Most of my students are interested in careers as an athletic trainer, physical therapist, or orthopedic surgeon. So when they're done with our program, they will have their Associates of Science. Do you love sports? And do you take satisfaction from seeing someone go from injury all the way back to the sport that they love? Then this is a program you should definitely consider.
So 40-point lead for COC. Matt Robinson, Jesse Munoz back here with you inside Cougar Stadium. And, I mean, can't ask for anything more. We've talked about it a number of times, but...
Yeah, I mean, I think it bears repeating just the excitement on the sideline, in the stands, in the booth, amongst the players, amongst the coaches. This is awesome. Excited to be back. I know.
I'm mad we got to wait 3 weeks until we can do it again.
Let's do it again tomorrow. We don't need to sleep.
I just want to go back to work. Let's go again.
No, great and very fortunate to be back, overcoming, like I said, the hurdles of the last year, to be able to be in this position.
Low line drive kick that's going to bounce and stay in bounds. You know what? You maybe not dialed it up that way, but
it'll work.
Worked.
It'll work.
It reminds me a little bit of a play that Chuck Lyons used to run every day in practice. Run to the dots and stop on a short kick. And that's kind of what it looked like unintentionally, but it worked. They ran that play, Jesse. I'm not kidding. Man.
Oh, I believe it.
I think it was before your time. We used to sit out there when I was studying athletic training, and they would run that play for hours. Run to the dots and stop. It was great. It's good times.
Chuck Lyon, our outgoing Dean of Athletics and Athletic Director.
We'll get him up here at some point.
Retired end of the summer here. But like you said, Matt, hope to have him in the booth one day this season.
We got him last year. We should get him this year. He's a legend. He's probably out here somewhere bouncing around right now. To be
what? If I was a betting man, I would say he is here. I haven't had eyes on him, but we've been busy up here in the booth. But like I said, always a fun interview.
Always has good stories.
Yeah,
always has good stories.
Absolutely.
As we'll go here on 2nd and 3, as it's Floyd still in there for Antelope Valley. Getting a little run here for the Marauders as they'll hand off. Bouncing around on the inside for AVC was Jackson Marshall. He's brought down, but not after he gets a big chunk for a first down. I think it might have been Hunter Pounds that got to him first if we check the replay here. No, actually it wasn't Pounds, but Pounds is right there. Didn't see who got him. It was just a pile of bodies.
We've had a couple of those tonight. Those Cougars swarming to the ball. Everyone wants to get in on the play.
Yeah, that's going to be movement up front. Ball didn't get snapped. Everybody on the offensive line moved. And so we'll back up.
Matt, while we have a minute, I also want to give a welcome to our new Dean of Athletics, Physical Education and Kinesiology, Mr. Steve Rice, joined us this summer. And, of course, our athletic director, Chad Peters, both of them instrumental in allowing us to do this broadcast, get things up and running. So we definitely appreciate them. Looking forward to another great season here at College of the Canyons.
As Floyd will throw, he's going to step up instead, spins, but spins right into the arms of a Cougar as
I want to say that was number 38.
Agbalaya.
Yes, good job sticking with him and getting him down to the ground. That's one of those ones, kind of an awkward angle with kind of the way he met him. Easy, not easy, but potential to spin out of that play and get a few extra yards. He was able to wrap him up and take him down.
So we'll go 2nd and 9 as they give him a yard. Floyd will step back, 3-step drop. Now he'll step up, looking downfield, will throw over the middle. Enough for a first down. Ballantyne on the tackle. Pass was...
Ballantyne just kind of came in and cleaned things up there.
It's Q Allen on the catch out of the backfield. Yeah, Ballantyne put a hat on him for sure.
He's a big dude, 6'3", 205 out of Saugus. Got some reps in 2019, but again, such a talented secondary, a lot of rotation. Good to see him out here getting some more time.
And we talked about it. It's ridiculously deep. We didn't really get much of a chance to talk about Abdul Latif Adu, but he's kind of the top gun on that defensive backfield. But it just goes deeper. Joshua Madison, he's shown up a little bit here today. Cameron Bell, Matt Ballantyne, a couple of guys that have played well.
Camacho with the pick.
Jovan Camacho's brother Ryan out there floating around too. Avi Harris has been a guy that's been there. Mason James, another guy. I mean, it just gets deeper and deeper as we go on. Mumtaz hasn't really gotten a run today, but he's a guy that is expected to help out on the defensive backside. You know, it just deep on the defense. Joshua Christopher, we've said his name a few times. And they're the more experienced group on the Cougar defense this year, Jesse.
You know, and which is interesting, especially we consider that the late start that they got, returning to the field, getting practice in. Again, all the protocols and you know, things that had to happen before they could return really put them behind the 8 ball in terms of time to prepare. To come out and see this type of performance, the individual performances that you've mentioned is really amazing.
Floyd with lots of room up the middle. This is going to be a big chunk, and he's finally brought down at the Cougar 30-yard line as it's Ballantyne in there again on the tackle. As Antelope Valley will move the chains, trying to strike again, just get something going for next week against Victor Valley, which will be on SoCalCollegeSports.com if you are a fan of the Marauders.
Now you see Coach Corbett down there still right up on the action, coaching them up. Doesn't want to give up a touchdown here this late.
Never.
The game is controlled, but it is certainly not over.
He said, as you said earlier, the Cougars pride themselves on being a team that does not give up at any point. And that one might be picked, and no, it's out of bounds. But a couple of bodies there. Ill-advised throw from Floyd. It was only blue jerseys around it.
Yeah, this field's a yard wider, and that's another interception.
Victor Omarodian was one of the ones there trying to get to it. And as we were talking about, Cougars always pride themselves on outworking everybody, and that includes the coaching staff, Dan Corbett down there trying. Nope, we're not letting a touchdown.
Absolutely not. There's no let up in this group.
As we'll go on 2nd and 10 here. Floyd will throw. Wanted to throw to the far side. Now will run. Flushed out of the pocket. That one deflected. And Matt Ballantyne with a good defensive play to get enough of a hand on it to make sure the receiver couldn't come down with it.
And the Marauders, I mean, the pressure was there. I guess the offensive line just enough to keep it away. But certainly heard the footsteps, were just a millisecond away from that.
So to bring up 3rd and 10. Clock ticking here. Because it's a 40-point lead, I believe, right? Is that the rule? As Floyd will just tuck it and run. Dances around one, gets knocked down. As it was Bullock that made the tackle. Clock will reset after the chains get reset. And we're inside 2 minutes here. And actually they will get it to run now.
Final moments, but again, Coach Corbett calling plays and signals. No let up here. And that'll do it in terms of, you know, let them get the completion, keep them in bounds, make the tackle.
The clock continues to tick now inside 1:30, and it's, you know, academic at this point. The Cougars dominated from the start. I mean, you really have to like what you saw out of Colton Doyle. Didn't get a long run, just played the first half, but boy, was he impressive. 70 yards on the ground going into the half, 298 through the air. Cougars with 47 on the board. And, you know, he spread the ball around nicely really all day long, Jesse.
Yeah, 1 half was enough. I mean, you look at the numbers he put up, he's definitely going to be, I would think, among the top performers in SCFA for week 1.
Yep.
Him and TQ Gilmore, definitely standouts. But, I mean, it doesn't stop. The list goes on and on. We could talk about 10, 12 guys
on both sides of the football
that made significant impacts tonight, and there's 2 more. There's 2 more.
The celebrations always give me. It's Reggie Jones. He had the fumble recovery. He's in there on the sack.
I have a feeling opposing quarterbacks are going to get to know that young man.
Alexander Vekic as well was in there.
And you always love when the celebration takes you down, but quick to pop back up and continue celebrating. Love it. You know, Matt, I want to see the eruption here from this sideline. 22 seconds to go. Cougars have not played since November of 2019.
And remember, that game was a loss.
Yes, and out here in front of our home crowd, under the lights, worked so hard and put in so much time.
Floyd just running for his life will throw it out of bounds. That'll be incomplete with 6 seconds left, and that's the ball game essentially. 4th and 11 on that play, so it'll be a turnover on downs. Cougars will send out a body to take a knee, and that's it. Cougars are going to take a 47-7 win, and they just say, let's just run it down anyway. We don't need to get anybody hurt as we are in a run time scenario. So 47-7, Cougars take the victory. Jesse, final thoughts from you before you head down to the field?
Awesome. A+ on all sides. Of course, there's always a few things to clean up and get better, but I think in terms of a debut and a really setting the tone for the season, Cougars did everything they wanted to accomplish. That's a great job. Great job to Coach Iacenda and his staff. Young men, keep working hard, and we'll be back here. What are we talking?
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
3 weeks.
We will be back.
Cougars on the road for the next 2 weeks, and then we'll be back against Palomar in a couple of weeks' time. Jesse, it's great to be back, buddy.
Matt, I appreciate you. Everybody, our whole crew, our production crew, can't thank you guys enough. And to our fans, you guys are awesome. This I promise. Go Cougs.
Go Cougs. 47-7 victory for COC. That'll do it for us here on the webcast. We thank you for joining us. Make sure you check cocathletics.com for more information on future upcoming webcasts on our Cougar Sports Network. But for all of us here on the Cougar Sports Network, we thank you. Have a great night, everybody.